As a country, we don't come far as an independent nation. Plenty can say 60 years of independence, which we will achieve. Well, my simple answer to that is this. For make progress as a nation, not so easy thing. Not to one person in business, not to one tribe or region. It therefore take all effort to make we move the nation. We can pray today so that all which we don't learn in 60 years as an independent nation, we will use them for good before. We don't fight, we don't divide, we don't do plenty bad things then we deal with it today. We're not proud of ourselves. And as how I hear it inside the Kituba, where you want to make somebody be patriotic, you pick yourself, if one may be proud of you. Now for make you don't say you don't succeed, you do good things then. You know the tell us they go, now ain't going to go boast for you about who that you be. But the one thing very interesting about this nation, who we have to take seriously, and the fact say we accept say God now create you all, God now responsible for all now, and that now we get for all get for go answer to. And that godly Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, nothing is impossible for him. Anything we want to do, they do them. Waiting what a man the feast say not possible, it make them possible. That now right across the Christian and the Muslim. So we can have today for mark this occasion by on this Juma through this Juma prayer, for more ask and back. Plenty man can say we don't wait 60 years. Me, I can say, I will say, we don't wait 60 years. Most of the nations, the way we they admire, also want for go live, they're not being just scrap and be the beautiful and great nations where they be today. They go through wars, they go through the young stages. Waiting they do, where most important, we make with the admire them today, they learn from the lessons of all the problems that we then go through, and then decide for make say, one, we know the faith again. We will talk about democracy, now for make we able to change power from one group of people or from one person to another in a peaceful way. Now that democracy they're about. May we all agree saying that this person is the leader, now this party is the lead way. So now you make all that they be. What will they talk about? Institutions. Then create an institution and then for mediate. Okay, constitution. Now for regulate how things they happen in the country. So million prayer to God today. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now for make it accept we with all we see in this nation. But make you know say with all the challenges and we see that we continue for look up to them. For make it guide we. For make it protect we. And for make we give you the leadership we need. We get the people at heart. We will make we change for the better. Today, we don't gather. Sunday, the Christian themselves, we simply gather back. But the one beautiful thing we will celebrate, we know the evening celebrate. Now the fact say, we Muslims then, we Christians then, we gather together and pray under the same roof. Sometimes we share the altar. This nothing will not possible other side in the world. We take her for granted because we don't get problem with her. We didn't hire all the time. But if we get for export anything around the world, for me they know say a special group of people that live in the world where they take God, that one they get a different name, the other one they get a different name. But all say no sin at God. If I began to tell me say that to some other creature when they pray to Naya, me not for don't live out of now. But when I call Allah, me call her God. Now language is the difference. And when you watch, when you read the Bible very well, especially the Old Testament, and you study the Quran very well, Then you know, say, the one the way they make plaba, not to forget that they make that plaba. The one the way they kill people, they say now two different, you know, not to God in name. In fact, judgment day can come. We can forget.
All right, good morning and welcome to another beautiful edition of the program we are. Well, today a very special one because the government of Sierra Leone actually present the scorecard to civil society organizations and as well then they present them to the media for later able to see how far the government don't go with things them we get for do it how the lives of people for better. Members say a lot of things don't go on from 2018 to now, where plenty people get critical views about things them, and plenty people not understand what the government they do. So today, then decide for day na Kenema, who side they actually go engage civil society and the media. Well, right now we go live na Kenema, who side we get the Deputy Minister of Information and Communication, where na Solomon Jamiru, where go actually give we a brief of waiting actually they go on, or waiting make them decide for all this civil society and media engagement forum for presenting scorecard to them people there. So, Lawrence, you there live now?
Yes, live, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So please, the question where we the first ask now, why this engagement forum for media and the civil society organization? Because this is a form of presenting what the government don't actually do, you know, from where they take over from 2018 to now. So waiting exactly the happen there in Kenema.
Again, we are an online accountability platform where we provide regular updates, news, and analysis of political governance, economic, and other issues happening in Catalonia. So basically, the question, the relevance, the purpose of this particular retreat. Thank you very much for the opportunity to get me on the program. Well, we know they talk about governance, and especially in any democratic dispensation, some elements to do is very important: transparency and accountability. And we believe so 4 years of the administration of President Julius Maada, it's important for me to get platform like this, where the Britain civil society leaders, people from the media, so that at least we will expose government to public scrutiny, so that we can come get a sense of the key accomplishments based on President Julius Maada bill, a manifesto commitment, and looking at the key priorities of government set out in the medium-term national development plan, so that we all, as members of this community in Salone, we will look at their accomplishments, but also we will be very sincere about some of the challenges we go through to confront government. And I think that through this, a lot of people will appreciate the work of governance, what will happen in 4 years, and especially as we go to elections in June 2023. And so the theme for this year really now consolidating democracy, a shared, collective, and patriotic responsibility. And we decide to get this theme because it's important for me to all as one society put with best efforts together for able to consolidate with peace, consolidate with democracy, and make sure that this country emerges as a prosperous nation, a peaceful, a secure nation, and a united country. And we think the journalists and the civil society are very critical part of this democratic accountability, and allow me to decide for this program here this time around.
Now the number 3 activity this way una the all. Una don't all the first one, the second one, and this are the number 3 activity. Whose impact will this actually they get in terms of communicating to CSOs and the media because now then they between them and the government and the people?
It's important for me to note communication as always dynamic and progressive. Working ministries, departments, and agencies we don't do for the last 3 years, after the time we get to the last session, a lot of things will don't change. Sometimes it's some ministries, departments, and agencies we don't reach 40% in their accomplishments. Sometimes at the time we get this third one now, sometimes they are 60%, sometimes they are 70%, sometimes 80%, sometimes some don't reach 100% of their deliverables. So I think a lot of information will be shared today on what we don't do. Let's say, for example, now we will look at free quality education. Remember, say, under this administration, in just 4 years, we don't get a 37% jump in school enrollment. We will look at access to energy. We meet them at 13-14% when this administration came in 2018. Now, access to energy is about 34-35%. But it is left to those ministries, departments, and agencies to come and really talk to us about their accomplishments, looking at the things that they don't accomplish, looking at some of the work in progress, looking at some of the concerns and challenges. Because if we all know that their concerns and challenges, it will help you to appreciate what the ministries, departments, and agencies do. But I'm also this time at the theme, when they talk about democracy, they talk about peace. What happened in the Budapest rally? The only reason why the Budapest rally can have been Bamako in the Republic of Mali. But because they don't consider they could be peaceful and secure, and decide to come and Salvador they consider to be peaceful and secure. So when they tell me that as Sierra Leoneans, one of the things to really to celebrate and the fact that we are consolidating our peace, that the fact that we have a strong democracy. So we are here to say to the people of Sierra Leone, when you talk about government, it's not just President Jaro and ministers. Democracy and governance are all, from the farmer to the security, from the cleaner to the teacher, from the nurse, the doctor, to the teachers and the professors in the classroom, from the media practitioners to civil society leaders. We are all part and parcel of this democracy. So it's not just to come here and listen to presentation, have a sense of the accomplishment, but it is also about renewing our commitment as citizens of Sierra Leone that will be part of building this democracy and making sure that democracy works for Sierra Leone and for Sierra Leone. So that is what is new this time.
So, Una, they expect any critical views in this particular discussion, like somebody can get the free will, a free mind, or the openness for tell Una say, this not the area where we suspect say Una don't go wrong, or this not the area where Una don't do well. Una willing for accept the open mind of people, or Una just the choose of waiting and waiting would be nice to the government in years.
Receptive to critical views. You know, that I'm even in school and colleges that they talk about critical learning. You know, it is not just garbage in, garbage out. So it's a give to them an opportunity to lend them perspective to the people. And another to come, because we believe that one of the key barometers of any society is the media and civil society. So when those information come out, we listen from civil society and the media, and I think we can have some of the brightest ideas coming, some of the brightest and most formidable suggestions and recommendations coming from the floor. And I'm going to make sure that from the two panel they get, we'll be able to call floor interaction so that we hear views from the floor. And I think if we really talk about an element of accountability, one of the ways we really hold ourselves out as an accountable government, as a listen to critical views, as long as those criticisms are constructive and they will help you to move forward. Absolutely, as a government, we are always receptive to it. And bearing in mind that indeed information is a key critical human right, and really you have to listen to your people, and the things that will get some of the brightest suggestions from the floor for the 2 days they are coming.
Okay, before I let you, the last question I will ask you, we will likely get for engage you back after the whole session for today. You know, basically, when I don't do this thing 1 term, 2 term, this is not the number 3 term, how this translates to the actual way how people they see the government. When I feel say it don't create any impact, the last 2 on I don't do.
Indeed, as a government, we will celebrate accomplishments, but we continue to be humble because there is a lot more to do. All of what we will talk about translates into changing lives, into giving people a better life. If we are talking about electricity, we have to ensure that people have electricity, and that makes this government to focus on rural electrification, even as they focus on broadening access to energy even in the western area. We believe that people will really be informed and to participate actively and constructively. They have to be educated. And that makes this government really they ensure that we focus on human capital development and give picking them an opportunity for better education. And so we make sure that it is free for the better part and for the larger part of the population. So we think that it has to translate. And that makes even when we talk about the economy, one of the areas where we look at first, we look at the extra health in the medium term national development plan. Whether it's human capital development at the first cluster, or we are talking about diversification of the economy in the second cluster, or we are talking about infrastructure for economic competitiveness. We will look at everything. So even on the economy, which is the bread and butter issue, it is indeed one of the significant components of this session we will get. And so government will talk about what we don't do, but also we will look at what is happening at control locally and internationally. And even on the economy, we believe we have some of the brightest ideas in the room, and this government is very receptive to those constructive suggestions. Because at the end of the day, I agree with you, it has to translate changing life so that by the time we go to next year election, by the time we go to 2 years from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now, the Leone should not be where it is today. So indeed, as a government, that is a commitment, and we are in a position to renew that commitment to the people of Sierra Leone.
All right, thank you very much. We will get for listening to waiting other people them they say. So we will get for know waiting or how we for engage you back after this first day of the session. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Always a pleasure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
A name that Solomon Jamiu, the Deputy Minister of Information and Communication, will actually be the update we about the government in presentation of the governance scorecard where then they do na Kenema today. So we get we man over there where actually they coordinate. So for the sake of the noise, Lawrence, you get me? Yes, if you able to grip one civil society somebody where go tell we critically how then they expect for see this thing, I go one for you move on from the all because of the noise. We be actually they get jamming or the noise
actually get activists from Kenema district here, the host district, so that we be able to engage them on the subject matter.
Yes,
and we are trying to actually teach out one who deserves to be credible and just a bit of understanding about government activities and also knowledgeable about the relevance and purpose of this particular issue. So we government is literally suggesting card to the citizens through CSOs and the media.
Okay. So let me get a balanced discussion. If you can grip balanced views, one where you think say very critical and one where you feel say get a little bit where I can massage things them. I think it will fine for that we get the views of waiting and they expect before we go to the sessions the proper one.
That's what we're trying to do, but they seem to be everybody wants to. So yes, we go. I don't meet with just one for public on this, but we are trying our best, and of course we will do some very important and just engage several key stakeholders, the people that matter in this discourse. But one of the things that we need to forget very, very clear is the fact that for the last two to three, the last two retreats where the government hold here, in the last one in particular, we were told that the government has met up to a little over 90% of the manifesto commitment. So for many people in Sierra Leone, particularly the poor, and how the fulfillment of those manifesto commitments don't translate into reducing the three central problems of economic development, which are poverty, inequality, and that of unemployment. Until and unless, in my view, we have, all these problems are reduced from higher proportions to lower proportions, then we can say that indeed we have made achievements of progress in development. Meanwhile, viewers also just get to the back of the mind that we will become the full coverage now today and of course and tomorrow we engage the people that matter. This is just the opening, it's about to start, and many people are all about, and trying to get themselves seated, some are trying to get themselves registered because it's their procedures for make you be entitled, to be called a delegate in this particular retreat. So those procedures have to be fulfilled or complied with before ever the program will get underway. So meanwhile, back to you.
Okay, so the question now, what do you see? Because according to the Deputy Minister of Information, he said that they expect to get open mind from people, for able to tell them waiting them feel say they don't do right or do wrong. In other words, then they can present and then they expect to get a feedback from the people. You think say people will really get that freedom for make their own critical views about the government in this particular retreat?
Well, I will just reflect on what has been happening in the past 3 weeks. Normally, it's a kind of a talk shop or narrative sessions where you get the government ministers, them, the heads of parastatals, them, or they can, and just basically do a PowerPoint presentation, narrate, highlight the achievements, the successes, and some of the challenges they encountered for the year under review. And after those presentations, then of course they can invite few questions from the audience or the delegates, and a few questions in the sense that if most times for the past 2 years when we don't be present, questions they're knocking even up to 8 or 10. They're knocking past 10. 10 is the maximum. And some of those questions, some Monday where they ask questions, some Monday whether, because of the political allegiance or partisan stature, questions that were necessary for asking, not to asking, so that they deprive those who are very much critical, from asking questions. And the question time is very limited, so it cannot be said to be a fully accountability platform where, criticism or critique of government policies and programs is allowed, to the extent possible. But again, the few years again, few CSOs then they make recommendations, then they come up with suggestions. Then we don't know to what extent those suggestions or recommendations have been effected, and what has been the change if at all those recommendations or suggestions have been taken on board, and the impact as well where it don't create. In terms of improving governance accountability, in terms of improving the deliverables way the government set out in the executive manifesto, and that of the national medium-term national development plan, because that is key. The plan is from 2019 to 2023, and so we are getting close to the expiration of that document. We don't know how that one will actually the areas the way governments don't actually consider as challenges, the areas where we will meet it so far so good.
So now the minister with the CSO right now?
Exactly so.
All right, so by any way, you can just approach and then we ask him one question.
Okay, and I just hope that he will be receptive. Of course, he is.
We actually live at Kenema outside with the try for see how best we can get the things that really happen at Kenema right now. We don't talk to the Deputy Minister of Information and Communication, and now with the try for see how best we can talk to the Minister of Information and Communication, because this is a very important engagement where the government try for do with civil society. Mr. Minister, welcome to the platform, sir.
Thank you very much. I'm glad for there.
All right. So, Mr. Minister, una done the whole them platform, them kind of engagement there. This is not the number 3 thing. And I listen to you carefully. You say them platform here una the whole now for make una get proper engagement and explain to the media, the civil society organization of the achievement, because this is in a form of a scorecard. So, in your opinion, this number 3. How you could say the one and the second one don't really translate into waiting on the do in the country?
So thank you for the opportunity. Number one, from the first edition, we learn lessons there, because always after every program, we get reflection sections there. What went right? What could have gone better? What lessons learned? Now we take for improve the next one. So from edition 1, we improve edition 2. From edition 2, we improve this one back. A lot of things, for example, apart from just bringing this year, of all other years, we don't bring the Honorable Vice President and they deliver the keynote address. For the first 2 editions, then, I've been the Chief Minister on both occasions. So this time, the Vice President. So we don't increase the profile of the whole engagement process. Number 2, previously, Number 2, previously, we don't on the work. This year, we don't realize all work and no playmates got the door there. So this year, we're going to get a match. between ministries, departments, and agencies versus CSOs and the media. That one may be a two, right? Apart from that one, the whole how to get this program. The very first time, don't connect to fiber for make sure anything.
Very sorry about the disconnection with regards the earpiece. Very sorry. Well, the minister be actually try for put in place waiting they don't do, with regards
we are from Kenema City Hall today, they connected to fiber, we mean high speed connectivity, apart from the fact say radio link.
Lawrence, go near and small, we're not here and fine. Yes, go ahead.
Hello.
Yes, please.
Yes, one thing that happened now is that we get a challenge with the mic.
Yes.
We try to fix that and get back online.
All right.
I'll get back connected. Let's try to address that.
Not a problem. Thank you very much for where they make you try best for let we get the best way. Thank you very much.
Okay.
All right, we still na Kenema, usai we actually try for listen to waiting the happen day. Well, interesting things then they happen where we be really want for just ask the minister one very important question based on the analysis where the journalists been try for put. But in the meantime, if they try for lay in foundation about this program and waiting at the benefit we get, well, we get a question where we get from the journalists will be very important because the journalists will just try for talk say taking into consideration the last sessions them where they do, they can just take like 10 questions them. So basically not more presentation, and by the 10 and they can ask 10 questions, we get people where they ask critical questions them. Rather, you get some people where it's either them very soft, with issues, some people because of political affiliation, the party influence, or maybe because then they look for something very good from the government. Instead of they ask the critical question, then go massage the government, on issues them. So then they deprive other people who get critical mind for ask questions. So the question we want to ask the minister now how they make sure say they get critical points them, we will help them as a government for put things them in place for let them able for know waiting the need for do for make the lives of the people improve, especially now that we run down to the election where a lot of people they still look say the government gets small time for let it put things them in place. If not, it will be a very big thing for them. Remember, at one point in time, the president, they don't tell me, say, this particular time, it don't camp and can. Thing don't camp and can. In other words, the way how people, they look at them, and the way how then they look at things them, now two different things them. So how best they can put things them in place with forums that like this, for make them get genuine views from people so that they will use that one day for translate them, and improve waiting the happen at the country. That thing was very, very important. So now on time, continue for day with we. So we will actually find where is the means how we could able for connect with the get small challenge with this particular microphone issue. But notwithstanding, now continue for listening this thing from Caretaker. We'll come back just now.
As a country, we don't come far as an independent nation. Plenty can say 60 years of independence, which we don't achieve. Well, my simple answer to that is this. For make progress as a nation, not so easy thing. Not to one person in business, not to one tribe or region. It therefore take with all effort to make we move the nation. We can pray today so that all which we don't learn in 60 years as an independent nation, we go use them for go before. We don't fight, we don't divide, we don't do plenty bad things then we do what we did today. We're not proud of ourselves. And as how I hear it inside the Kutuba, where you want to make somebody be patriotic, you pick yourself if you want to be proud of you. Now for make say you don't succeed, you do good things then. The tell us go that ain't going to go boost for you.
Family no ado. The Ministry for Information and Communications gladly for talk to UNO, but the annual media and civil society retreat where they take place in Kenema, November 25 and 26, when tomorrow Friday and also Saturday. And for this annual media and civil society retreat, the theme this year is strengthening democracy, our shared, collective, and patriotic responsibility. We all know, say, Minister Mohamed Rahman Soare, when the Minister for Information and Communications, don't make this key commitment that every year we will bring together journalists and civil society for look at President Julius Maada Bio in Manifesto promises. We look at what we don't set out for do as priorities in the medium-term national development plan, waiting at the accomplishments of this administration, but for also open up to the challenges. And so it's important for us to talk about this retreat, and so I will bring Honorable Minister Mohamed Rahman Soare for talk to UNO about this retreat.
Thank you very much, my brother, Honorable Solomon Jamiru, Esquire. So today we depart for the historic city of Kenema. Wusai, tomorrow, the 25th and the 26th, we don't bring together all civil society leaders and media institutions there for we'll go discuss 4.5 years of His Excellency President Julius Maada Bio's administration. We'll go discuss key manifesto commitments there and then they will capture in the medium-term national development policy. So within this mean, government ministers, heads of MDAs, then they go open themselves up to public scrutiny. They not they only share what they not achieve in their respective MDAs there over the period. They also make sure say they open themselves up to questions, to answers, to interaction with members of the public, members of the press, and civil society, so that we will get a shared understanding of what this government has achieved thus far, right? So the theme particularly very important, shared responsibility, because we are one country, one people will get a shared destiny. This shared responsibility here will get a national, a patriotic duty, important. For example, when Budapest rally happened recently, they only been Canada because Mali not get peace. Then Canada because we're peaceful, we're stable, and we're democratic. And we now we're not go able physically present in Kenema, we will soon share various links there on all social media handles. Follow na able follow. Opening ceremony tomorrow will be aired live by AOIV, SLBC, and other media outlets there. So watch out. Join us in Kenema, either in person or otherwise.
As a country, we don't come far as an independent nation. Plenty can say 60 years of independence, which we don't achieve. Well, my simple answer to that is this. For make progress as a nation, not so easy thing. Not to one person in business, not to one tribe or region. It therefore take all effort to make we move the nation. We can pray today so that all which we don't learn in 60 years as an independent nation, we go use them for go before. We don't fight, we don't divide, we don't do plenty of bad things then we do what we did today. We're not proud of ourselves. And as how I hear inside the Kituba, where you want to make somebody be patriotic, you pick yourself if you want me to be proud of you. Now for make you don't say you don't succeed, you do good things then. You know the tell us go now ain't gonna go boast for you about who that you be. But the one thing very interesting about this nation who we have to take seriously, and the fact say we accept say God now create you all, God now responsible for all now, and that now we get for all get for go answer to. And that God day, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, nothing is impossible for him. Anything we want to do, they do them. Waiting what a man the fee say not possible, it make them possible. That now right across the Christian and the Muslim. So we can have today for mark this occasion by on this Juma through this human prayer, comment ask come back. Plenty man can say we don't wait 60 years. Me, I can say, I will say, we don't wait 60 years. Most of the nations, the way we they admire, also want for go live, they not be.
All right, we don't go back live now. Kenema, outside we get we human day. We actually they do a live relay for we. Basically, they try for talk to the minister just not, but the microphone where they use the piece being get for drop and being get some fracture along the way. But now I think it don't come back and the sound look more clear. You get me clear?
Yes, sure.
Yes, please.
Sure.
All right, so the minister been try for talk, but one thing where we want just ask him now the issue where you bring him up about the engagement of how they take question and all, how they want to improve that system there for this time around. You know, because as they say engagement, therefore be really be that kind of engaging rather than one side of the presentation and then they listen to a few and then they say everything not over.
Yeah, I think so. We'll get them back later on because as it stands now, everybody is seated in the hall, and I think that the vice president, who happens to be the keynote speaker of this event, is very close, and so they are outside to receive him into the hall. Senior government ministers are outside waiting to receive the vice president, who is the keynote speaker for this event. But again, let's just go through the program so that people can get to know exactly what to expect. In the opening, generally, as in such occasions, what normally happens is that you get different stakeholders for make several statements. So, for a start, of course, the first speaker for chair this opening session, the resident minister is when a retired brigadier Ketboya. And of course, we don't forget to welcome statements from the mayor of the Kenema City Council, His Worship from K. Bao. And of course, we also don't forget the information minister, Mohamed Raman Swari, we get for engage on the purpose of the annual CSOs and media retreat. And thereafter, we get statements from the following people. The paramount chief of Nongoa Chiefdom, when a PC Sidik Matoi Kapua, the fifth. And we'll not forget statements as well from the chairman of the Kenema District Council. Mind you, we get the district council, then we also get the city council. So that's the beauty of and about 5 districts in Sierra Leone where they have a district council as well as a city council. Yeah. So the chairman of the Kenema District Council, when Mohamed Amadou Sise. Then of course we don't forget statements from the president of the Republic of Sierra Leone Association of Journalists. We always refer to the flag as a republic. It's a fraternity. We don't forget statements from the president when Ahmed Said Nasrallah. Every year, of course, in an occasion where the media is represented in an engagement between the government and the media and CSOs, you normally get somebody where they speak for and on behalf of the CSOs, them as the CSO lead representative. Then, of course, you get the flash president where now they represent all the journalists and the association. Of course, Sierra Leone, we will represent and speak for and on behalf of the association. Then we don't forget statement from the executive director of the Institute for Governance Reform, when Andrew Lavalley as the CSO lead representative in this retreat. Then, of course, the Director General of the NAMED, when Dr. James Edwin. Then, of course, the Chairman of the Independent Media Commission also going to make a statement in this opening, who is no less a person than Dr. Victor Masakoy. And we also forget some statements again from the Minister of Planning and Economic Development, Dr. Francis Kakai. After him going to make a statement, definitely we could get now the keynote address from no less a person but the Vice President of the Republic of Sierra Leone, Honorable Mohamed Julde Jallo. As you can see outside, a lot of senior government ministers, security personnel are already on the standby to receive the Vice President. We have just been told that he's on the way, very close to this place, and as protocol demands, until the Vice President is seated before the program will commence. So until then, everybody is already seated in the hall, but we are waiting for the arrival of the Vice President before the program actually commences.
All right. I see the Ministry of Information themselves don't come live. In fact, they show we what exactly they happen out inside the hall, whilst you they outside they show we things that when they happen. I think it's a combination of good things that what they get right now. You they outside and then they inside where they able to see exactly what they happen. I would advise you maintain your position, especially also you did so for see how the Vice President they come inside, whilst we still they get a picture from inside for see waiting and waiting the happen now they place there. Yeah, as we go. If possible, if at all you're able to capture anybody, then that's cool. But if not, we still maintain how the pictures then this way very good for let we see what they happen. Because we rather want for the very important things them where they're going to speak from the heart of people rather than just to see that thing for make fine face and other things then. Because if you listen to critical views, you go able for no side to go wrong and able for put things in place for correct your mistakes then.
Well, it all depends if we have critical mind in the hall, because you can only, obtain some critical view when you have such a critical person seated in the hall. And of course, I suppose that the Vice President is arriving now.
Okay, so let's just see waiting it's like for waiting and get for do. We did live from we are at Kenema. Also, we actually watch waiting the government they put in place, because then they actually try for do media retreat to side and they meet with the media and civil society organization then for talk about waiting and say SCORECARD. In other words, the things them where the government will say then they do before then give them the opportunity for rule the country, and at the same time for able for see waiting people and think about that. And so we actually they wait for ERE for see or for see if they get critical views from people then as we they wait right now the place. From what you see right now, as I see from the different angle them where we they take the pictures them from. Well, we see people in door ready for welcome the Vice President. We actually we hear this hearing. So in other words, it will come inside Gigi's not for and go start the program. And as we wait as well for see the things that need to happen. Now, Lawrence, you get me right?
Yeah.
Now, I've been listening to the minister where they tell me basically about the activities then, So in an event where the government they put together a program like this, it gets to be really expensive.
Yes, definitely. And of course, normally they can get some contributions from private sector, and but it's largely a government sponsored or funded retreat. We'll get to know exactly where the funding came from. At the end of the day, we will have to engage the Minister of Information and Communication. Talking about critical voices or giving some critical perspective about what will be said here today and tomorrow. Just for let family know, say you get forget different categories or sets of presentation. And for a start, after the opening session, will last for about 2 to 2 hours, 30 minutes, where the Vice President will deliver a keynote address. Definitely, he will have to exit the hall as is usually the case. Thereafter, and then we will forget some presentation. We will start off with the Ministry of Basic and Senior Secondary Education, the government in topmost priority in education. And of course, the Ministry of Basic and Senior Secondary Education, the Ministry of Tertiary and Higher Education will get for present, and followed by the Ministry of Health and Sanitation, and that of the Ministry of Land will also get for present. As you can see now from the crowd entering into the hall, there is the Vice President, Honorable Mohammed Jude Jallo, making his entry into the hall as a keynote speaker for this program, flanked by the Minister of Land and also the Minister of Trade and Industry and other senior government personnel who have received the Honorable Vice President here this morning. And the moment he gets onto his seat, definitely the program will commence.
So in other words, like every ministers way involved in the government present at this particular event.
Yes. Those who are actually supposed to make presentations here are present, and of course, some of them will get for camp tomorrow because the presentation are for 2 days. Now we see what's happening outside. We see bike riders, there is jubilate or rather celebrate the recognition of the president or arrival of the vice president, and the security personnel are also very well stationed for ensure sanity prevails here this morning. But as you can see from what we happen outside, bike riders them, they shout and they blow their horn then and everything. I think I have to go back into the hall because the program is about to start. We're about to get down to business proper.
Yes, please. Yes. I think that's very important. Thank you very much. We will go inside the hall. Let me see waiting they happen right now. From waiting we see now from the hall, we see the vice president taking seats and the minister then near the minister of information, and then we get other dignitaries and we actually then near we are not able to call them by name. I don't know if you're able to tell me who that and then other IT will day. All right, we get a bad reception with regards to sound from Amanda. Okay, so what advice we do, I will take from the other line, I will take the sound from the other line, and then you just maintain your position for now. Let me see what in the happen. When and now in necessary for let ask you some questions, ask the presentation, and they go for let we analyze things. Then we go do them.
Okay.
Yeah. So we still late na Kenema, where we listen now to waiting. Different people are actually the same. So Lawrence, mute your line for now. Just mute and we left the people.
We know God to the development of our nation. We know God, you are nation builder. According to what you said, except you build, the labor and vigor build. And therefore, we all share you in this place. We declare, Holy Spirit, that you come and so protect this family, and that whatever we do, we bring honor and glory unto your name. We thank you, Father. We thank you for the leadership of our nation. We thank you for where we are your brothers too. And we want to thank you for where you're going to take us to after this meeting. We thank you for everything. We say you take all the praise, the glory, and the honor. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. This is it.
All right, the program is still the watch. Now we are on YouTube and on Facebook. We get a lot of things then we actually they go on as we did live na Kenema. Also, the government of Sierra Leone they do a retweet for actually do a presentation of the SCORECARD. For tell we waiting they don't do. Yes, in the last 4 years and waiting they actually spend from people.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Please permit me now to call on the Senior District Officer East, Mr. William Yobai, to please introduce our local dignitaries here, and that will be followed by an introduction of members of the high table by the Deputy Minister of Information and Communications.
Good morning, the Honorable Vice President, Ministers present here, Permanent Secretaries, Directors. Good morning, all. My task here is to introduce the local dignitaries of Kenema. But at this time, I cannot call all of them their names as I call you.
So in some cases, we can actually tell you where the watch we right now say, You get for listen, you get for watch, waiting the government they say and waiting the government they do. Now, only when you listen to them with open mind, you go able to understand certain things them, and you go able to see certain things and what they talk about. In most cases, we can tell you, so when you listen to them, you see the loopholes into what they say, you see the reality into what they say. So for this case, pay attention to what every speaker they say, and not say, I not go listen or I not go hear what they say. This, anyhow, now we government, just listen and see how best we can able for use what they say for hold them back to account. So please continue for watch.
Or representative. BC compliance is the read, so I think it's not here. Representative of post paramountry. Not it. / President Victoria. And all media houses, you can stand up for recognition. Media. The Regional Correction Center Manager. NEC. District Security Coordinator, Provincial Security Coordinator. Then my name is William Goodbye, the Senior District Officer at Kenema.
The Deputy Minister will now introduce the item.
Thank you very much. On the high table, ladies and gentlemen, we have on the extreme, Dr. James Edwin, the Director General for the National Monitoring and Evaluation Department. Next to him, we have Honorable Dr. Edward Sandi, the Minister for Trade and Industry. Seated next to him, the Deputy Minister for Works and Public Assets, Honorable Sunderland. We also have Dr. Turat Senesi, the Minister for Lands, Housing and Country Planning. And I will know the two introductions afterwards. And we have also Brigadier General Kes Boya, the Resident Minister for East. And seated next to him, to his left, we also have the Minister for Planning and Economic Development, Dr. Francis Kaikai. We have with us, most graciously, also Mr. Mohamed E.K. Ali, the Resident Minister for South. And Honorable Ibrahim Yalenke, the Minister for Sports. We have with us Minister Mohamed Roman Suare, the Distinguished Minister for Information and Communications. Thank you.
And he is Solomon Javier Esquire. Thank you very much. On this one to end my task, I will now call on the Provincial Secretary, Mr. Andrew J. Fofana, to introduce our chairperson for this program.
My Honorable Vice President, Dr. Julie Johnny, Cabinet Ministers, colleagues from ministries, departments, and agencies, the civil society family, the media family, and ladies and gentlemen, I greet you all. My task here is to introduce the chairman for this program. The chairman today is an household name in this country. He served in this country officer and retired as a brigadier general. After that, he moved to the political wing and served again as people in Ghana and the country as honorable as member of parliament for 2 consecutive terms. He later decided to move and retire, but in his wisdom, His Excellency, the President said, "No, my friend, we are still capable of serving this nation," and therefore appointed him as Resident Minister, Eastern Region, and the chairman
here today, Honorable Retired General Guest Boya. Mr. Vice President of the Republic of Sierra Leone, Dr. Louis Gallo, colleague ministers, Madam President, I wanted to recognize especially the Minister of Commission and my colleague from the South who always had to give me support. That is true. Representatives and heads of ministries, partners, and agencies, civil society organizations here present. The press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is a pleasure for me to be here this morning in your midst to chair this national annual program. I'm told that in December 2020 and November 2021, the Ministry of Education and Communication organized an annual media and CSOs meeting hosts where both local and national journalists as well as citizen organizations were brought together to assess the achievements and challenges of MPAs in the course of the implementation of the key manifesto commitments in the new direction agenda and the provision of the medium national development plan 2019-2023. Kenema City anticipated to host this year's annual meeting as CS retreat, which will be held simultaneously with an exhibition platform for MPAs to physically showcase their accomplishments to government and to discuss severe issues about which will be the setting of an agenda for the year 2023. In this connection, let me assure you of my personal commitment and support as Minister of this region and those of all the listeners. May I also therefore hasten to thank the Minister and all the organizers of the program on behalf of the entire Eastern region for particularly choosing Kenema as a venue for this year's annual media and civic conference. Thank you very much, Mr. Minister, for having our beautiful city for the venue. You are assured of your safety, and I dare to say in this beautiful city. Once more, let me thank you all as I wish you a very good contribution in the coming years. Thank you. I think we'll go straight to the program. The next on the agenda is a welcome statement by the mayor of the city. Our is acted and presented by Michael.
Good morning. The Honorable Vice President of the Republic of Sweden, the Resident Minister South, Resident Minister East, the Honorable Minister of Information and Communication, the Deputy Minister of Works, members of the High Table, NDAC, civil society, the fourth estate, and colleague politicians, I want to say good morning to you all. My task here this morning is to welcome you to this beautiful city, that is Kenema City. On behalf of Scholarship and Mayor, I want to welcome you all to this.
So after the lecture, my life from home, and as a blackout, power outage in the oil, and it's down, no we forget them, yes, no we forget them online. Hello.
Okay.
Hello.
Yes, we get you.
Yes, actually, there's a power outage in the phone, so
The
it's
lights
down
don't
to
go.
off. Yeah.
Okay.
Once that happens, so the only two videos they're going to get from Facebook as well as on YouTube are just a picture of what they're not going to get nothing for now.
Okay. All right. So if that be the case, you can take the time for the make Larry the most important in the talk since they're not able to put on the PA system because of lights don't go.
The audibility of his voice is the concern. We're not able to. Let me see how best. Now use
And see if you get a land.
Okay.
You get this.
All right. It don't talk, so we don't know if we'll be able to get them until we get another speaker for come inside again. Well, you still watch live updates from Kenema as the government they actually present a scorecard to the media and the civil society on waiting they don't do. You hear them they talk about, human capital. You hear them they talk about electrification. You hear them they talk about the free quality education and plenty other things them where the government actually they don't put in a manifesto where according to them they don't deliver. So right now, as we talk, we get live coverage from Kenema, but the problem now with the sound now that light actually don't go right now, we make it very difficult for the speaker them come up and talk because if they talk, they're not going to hear them and you get lots of platform the way they live right now. One for hearing, waiting, they happen inside Kenema right now as nearly all of the ministries then they now this particular hall. For present things them to we the people through the media and the civil society. So we look forward for see what will happen with regards to power the light we don't go. So by anyway they don't put any generator on.
Well, I think they are trying to resolve that because they give power just now, they don't go back. The power come on just now, they don't go back.
So in this program you get the Ministry of Energy, right?
Well, let me just go through
the agenda again.
Yes, exactly so. Let's hold on a little bit.
Okay. Not a problem. Right now, we're still in a Kenema as they try to fix the power. As lights don't actually go now, they all right now. Also, you get lots of ministers, them, the vice presidents, they all, as they try to present the good things them way they say the government actually don't do. But as they do that one day, lights don't go right now, we make them try to fix them up. Yes, I'm Lawrence.
Rather unfortunately, I don't see the Ministry of Energy or any of the sub-components, whether it's EDSA, whether it's EGTC, for come and do any presentation here. I'm not seeing them. I have a list of MDs that we get to present here today. But this is somehow embarrassing.
Yeah, I just want to ask you that question there because at the watch right now, the vice president in face as he continuously watch one side, but now he don't look butu as they write something. You think this nothing where we make you happy?
Well, you can see the mood from his face, and I think the viewers them across Facebook and YouTube are best positioned for interpreting the mood of the VP when the lights will go. But now you see the smile. Before this time, he was somehow, not pleased as the mood be the show now.
Yeah, because nobody expects say a day like very important day like this, a very important occasion, events like this for the lights go.
Especially at the time where we, the CLSG line from Ivory Coast don't be connected, where the government claims that both Kenema, Bo, and some other towns have been connected to the grid, and they get 247, 24-hour electricity. And so this is an embarrassment when I get a very big government, event like this, and the vice president present, then light go. It's embarrassing.
We are sorry.
So they don't fix them up now. We mean say they can't continue.
Exactly. So we have to go back. And of course, the resident minister is apologize for the power cut. And we are going back to resume from where we stopped.
Okay. All right. No problem. So let's continue.
So I can mute and you collect the sound back from where?
No, the sound from outside because of the power outage, then self don't go off. So we maintain mute for now.
Okay.
Okay.
The president's life.
So when I can do
just use one of the headphones and put another.
Okay. All right.
The Minister of Information and Communications, Cabinet Minister.
Did you get that clear?
Yes, please.
Did you get that clear?
Yes, sir.
English guys, President, colleagues, media, CSOs.
Are the president of SLAD talk now?
Exactly so.
All right.
I'm excited as well.
The monk. Okay.
Yeah. QE Act 2020. The president suggests to sign it. That's why you see all male high school here. Yeah. So let me start by, first of all, congratulating the Ministry of Information and Communication under the dynamic leadership of Minister Suarez and the deputy and team for putting this kind of program for the past 3 years and providing a forum where we can meet CSOs and media and dialogue with the government to see how far they are going. Delivering on their manifesto promise and also take our own contributions to how we can improve and what other areas we can collaborate with. Our collaboration with the Ministry of Information and Communications, extension of the government, has been very productive over the last 4 years. And I must say, in caution that this collaboration should in no way be misconstrued as flash or the media selling out journalists of the government or the government buying out journalists. We always want to make that clear. We are not selling it, and the government is not buying. Since starting this collaboration, we have not had a single call from any government official to influence what we do on the executive of large, or to ask us to influence what the media puts out there as their news to the public. And we want to thank them for that, for giving us that independence. And so this collaboration is basically part of the collaborating goal of media to work.
But for free, the collaborative role of the media to work with relevant agencies of government and outside the government to promote the national agenda of development. And we are encouraged that the media generally is performing its radical goal of scrutinizing government agencies, holding them to account on a daily basis. That's one slide, but does have any control of its independence. So there are many positives that come out of this collaboration. I think, or you agree with me, that the foundation of which the collaboration has been built in trying to develop a new media landscape is the historic repeal of the criminal libel law. The law that fought for over 50 years to get it repealed until 2020 when we achieved that landmark achievement. Now, there is free media, and there is media horizons compared to any other nation in America. Almost every media house or the media publication is registered by the Media Commission or NASA. That collaboration has also led the government to realize the role of the media in democracy by providing information to the public. That's why the government thought that they should support the media or slash and to perform that role independently through the annual subscription to slash to carry out activities. That selection was increased from 250 to 500 million audios in the last year. No journalist is in jail.
One journalist is across the country. We are very happy that we have contributed to that public.
Okay.
Our visit to the signing on Friday over the weekend, no more, since the repeal of the criminal libel law. That is something we should celebrate also. We have made the biggest leap in the history of the media in Sierra Leone. In the world has been of 2 years ago, going to that review to criminal libel law. And because of all of this achievement, the Sierra Leone was invited to be part of the Global Media Coalition. We have governments across the nation engaged in peer review their commitment to enhance free media and freedom of expression. We have had initial meetings with leadership of that platform to understand their work, their objectives, and how large Sierra Leone can benefit from their intervention. And last June, we had the Media Viability and Investment Conference here in Freetown. Mother View, when he was planning the conference was very successful. And the progress we have made so far after the conference, following up on several recommendations that were made in the document. The first one, Sierra Leone now got attention from the National Fund for Public Interest. So we are working on the team to ensure that the project National Fund for Public Interest establish multiple platforms, like not only the media, but also the CSOs, other stakeholders, the government, and we have also established a supporting group. So, the media from coordination for approval now. It's the first time in the history of media journalism where this body will be given small grant to individual media houses committed to doing public interest media. That is basically doing investigative reports, in-depth reports on governance issues, responsibilities to survey, and service delivery, local and national level. So in December 25, this program commenced, and there has been about $100,000 that has been approved for all of these structures. We set up $50,000 for setting up the structures and $50,000 for grants. So we're expecting the counterpart funding from the government as part of the commitment with the company to ensure that this very important activity in the new media of zero years. But there are also key responsibilities that the media also has to do to ensure that we achieve what we want to achieve for the media. That is one basically the media has to review our governance and leadership structure to ensure accountability of not hold us to account when we ourselves are accountable, to attract investment and to ensure sustainability. Media should also explore new business and business models, move away from traditional ways of doing things, take advantage of digital space, and see how we can also get audience there and make revenue. The government also encourages the government together with its partners to provide and encourage scholarship, training, and capacity building for journalists so that we have professional journalists with capacity to articulate issues, comment on issues, and make up alternatives to government policies. There's also the call for government to take affirmative action to promote community media, very important at the local level, and the public broadcaster, as well as broadcast corporation. The local grassroots are also urged to support community media to improve information provision as well as civic engagement around local government development policies initiatives. We also call for the government to see how they can introduce new tax incentives and waivers for community media. For example, reducing the tax on the importation of equipment that we use. And the SFBC's governance and fundraising model should be reconsidered with the view to giving the SFBC greater independence and financial freedom to improve infrastructure, enhance the quality of content, and devise longer-term business plans. The company also called on the government to legislate a national policy on advertising. It is a very critical issue media. For the government to get transparent allocation of public sector advertising. Criteria that combine region, national, and marketing. A lot of public also TSS. Something that the policy letting capacity for the media is not and to see us also plan with the Ministry of Finance to see how we need some of the media houses public broadcast and for government agencies. Please. The government also government and media work together to address gender imbalance in the media. One better body to facilitate that. The government set up a gender advice and hope that they will be able to research because of the gender representation in the media. We also want to encourage women entrepreneurs to enter media development. All of these achievements, you will one of the for the national public interest media, people that work with the government to ensure that the bodies are set up and also analyze the criteria, guidelines to visualize it. We also need to work together in order to define what the problem is media. But it's good news what I say. Gentlemen, it's a relationship with our government. Like we offer original and what is actually and then
people of agencies and trust created messages to local communities, amplify messages, and get on.
It's hard, economy is very hard. Difficult for workers. You know, the global expecting about this but things are going on, will be able to steady in salary. Salary is not for management, high cost of management. And so that's why talk about that unity in legislative dialogue, what is like under the platform of the National Council Committee, which large very clear, very inclusive, media,
I have certainly related to the situation that's what we are also doing. All of you are for the whole lot of thank you very much. You have educated us a lot, and from this point, I think we can move on. The executive branch, IPR, the RMO. Thank you, Lavali. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
This is Andrew Lavalini, Executive Director for Institute for Governance Reform, IGR.
The Minister of Information, Cabinet Minister, the residents of Kenema, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good, and I say morning to you all. So I know it was an ambush for slide to first take the podium so that all the points will be exhausted, because when one was speaking, I was just scratching most of the points here, and that means I will be very brief. So thank you very much. You know, I normally like to tell the story of this great man in ancient time, and this man was walking down the street in the broad daylight with a lighted lamp. And just asked what is the reason for this strange behavior. And you know what? He said, I'm looking for peace. I'm looking for development. And I think that's what we have here. Consolidating democracy, our collective shared and patriotic responsibility. We are all today like that man, and we are all looking truly for how we can consolidate our peace, consolidate our shared growth and responsibility. Thank you very much. And I would just like to, before saying those things that are really proper for this occasion, to allow me, Mr. Vice President, to brag about my, my background in development policy. We have what we call imminent development and eminent development. That is, even if we say we are not going to do anything about Sierra Leone, there will be some development. But we know that we need to do something with this eminent development. That's the belief in the capability of society. And that's why we are here, because we are all not satisfied with where we are. While we celebrate what we achieved, we are not satisfied with where we are. So that's why at any time we come together. Last year when we came together, exactly what I said last year, maybe it's going to be the same thing that I'm going to say this year. Because we've adopted democracy not only as a model of government or as a model of governance, but as a model of production. And what does that mean? It means that government cannot do it alone. We have to co-produce with the state. In fact, that's why studying, elements such as M&E, performance-based management, which private sector used to use, has now crept into the state. In fact, the state uses that more than we do. So we are here today, as far as we're concerned, from the civil society point of view, to celebrate what we call
democratic production. So in that respect, we have two modes of production. We have what we call, extractive political institutions, and we have what we call inclusive political institutions. By extractive is when the state does it alone. By inclusive is when we do it together. So on that note, I will just share a few things that we co-produced over the last 5 years. And for those of you who are here that are civil society, if I forgot anything, so please bear with me. As far as I'm concerned, the meaning of civil society needs to be established. For some people, civil society should be a terrain of contestation between government and the state. And I'm happy Monk actually laid out, even within the media is not a terrain of contestation. Civil society is not government, and civil society is not opposition. So together with the state, we co-produce education, we co-produce healthcare, we co-produce inclusive institutions. And that's why today it's good in practical terms for us to say, in Sierra Leone is a de facto two-party state, even though it's a multi-party by constitution on paper, but it's a de facto two-party state. And sometimes we get confused that when you critique too much, you are seen to be one side. When you say this is done, let's applaud, we are seen to be one side. And so what we've done most times is just to have a deaf ear and then to see what is truly in the interest of Sierra Leone. And when sometimes people say, no, you guys, you want to head to the opposition, you want to head to government, lean towards government. I just lean on my Mende accent, which is Ingelevi. You know what's called Ingelevi? Ingelevi is down for. If there is no SLPP today, there will be an APC. So what we need to do is to correct the mistake of SLPP and correct the mistake of APC together. You cannot say they are not in power. Let us not correct their mistakes. They will come back, and those things that we feared in the past will revisit the country again. So together, we've seen freedom of information, and SLAG will in no measure celebrate freedom of information more than civil society. The things I've said in Sierra Leone, the things Marcel and Sam have said in Sierra Leone, Ibrahim of many other civil society organizations, we've never had a sudden knock at our door. So on a day like this, we need to celebrate. Government established a CSO government forum. I think it's the first in Africa for civil society and government to actually create a framework for conversation on development issues. So instead of becoming a framework for contestation, we say let's talk about results. And I've seen in that forum, especially the one in Patriotism, the Minister of Education came and laid a program of education, and we interrogated that program. Just last week, we established the CSO parliamentary desk. It's the first in Africa for civil society to have a desk in parliament. So that means civil society working on extractive will develop documents and share with the extractive committee. Civil society working in education can directly input into education. The CSO parliamentary desk is the nobility. We supported many bills that have been passed in Parliament, and I must say, just a couple of weeks ago, the electoral justice report that was being launched, we saw it being launched, produced by civil society, actually being launched in the office of the AG's office, the Attorney General's office. And there are many things that Ibrahim told me, the author, the key author. There are many things that can the key author of that document. There are many things. Thank you very much. So there are many things that the key author of that document will have not to say behind closed doors, but it's all in that document about how they feel about electoral accountability. These are the things 30 years ago you wouldn't say in Sierra Leone. We produced the biometer. We produced the biometer, and I must say, Honorable President, distinguished ministers, that by January next year, we are producing the final biometer covering the length and breadth of President Bill's term for the first 4 years. The biometer is going to cover all 556 promises made by the President. And don't get me wrong, so there's a difference between a promise and there's a difference between the way you feel about government delivery. So suppose someone is not comfortable with Ambu Sobula, the former IG, it doesn't mean that 22% that was promised in education has not been delivered. So the biometer is going to actually distinguish between what was promised, what is delivered, and how do people feel about government. We'll be getting the ministry with this manifesto. These are some of the initiatives of civil society going towards elections. The last citizens manifesto, we made citizens made 7 broad demands. What has been acknowledged as a critique of that manifesto that citizens promised something that they themselves will commit to do. In this manifesto, will commit to do something. Imagine if citizens agree that in the next 5 years we will protest on the street. All citizens agree. Imagine citizens say that in the next 5 years we will not beg politicians. So it's things as simple as that. In addition, if you want to say government, make the police accountable to us, we have a role that will complement you to that. So the Citizens Manifesto will be a true social contract, a compact between citizens and government. Lastly, there are quite a lot of materials that are ready I will be using for the election. One is there's an interesting paper on trolling. The trolling paper, in that paper, we've interrogated over 10,000 messages, text messages on radio, 98.1 and AYB, 10,000 messages. I'm saying this because we are talking about democracy. The first 10 most bill detectors, 60% of them do not live in Israel, they live abroad. So, in fact, we are tracking the use of words like debate, use of words like evening, things that we want to actually ignore. We started to track it now and we start Minister of Information, all those details with this adjustment. I know, in my experience in giving speech, I know when people are tired of me and want me to sit down. But I want to say we are so much impressed about this partnership. It's the way to go. Civil society, I repeat, is not a terrain of contestation. We have to cope with this state. The state cannot do it alone. And we are not opposition. We have to work with the state to ensure that things they promise are delivered and essential services meet citizens. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Andrew. Civil society is not government, civil society is not opposition. Thank you very much. Another round of applause for you. The next speaker will be Dr. Bill. Yeah, that's what they are.
Honorable Mohammed John Salo, all the here, members of the media, and society. I want to mention a matter and communication for inviting the National Money Planning Commission Director. Let me therefore take this opportunity to inform the media and CSOs that the new institution has been established by His Excellency the President of an institution of focus on accountability, transparency, integrity, and participation in delivering results. That institution, the National Monitoring and Evaluation Directorate, having the Office of the President. His Excellency President Jesus Madam has taken another step in the fight against corruption and to ensure that results are delivered by empowering the National Monitoring and Evaluation Directorate to see that our activities are monitored, to see that all government and donor-funded projects are monitored, to see that the funds received by MDAs and local councils are well spent to achieve the desired results, to see that we are transparent in the use of funds in service delivery, to see that we have value for money, that is hard to spend on something gives you more work, more answers than the money itself has been received. And above all, is that we are accountable to our partners, and especially to the people of Suriname. The National Monitoring and Evaluation Directorate is the first of its kind in this country, and probably very few in Africa. NAMED is not only an institution of accountability, transparency, and good governance, but also a vehicle for monitoring and implementation of projects, programs, and policies funded by the government in cooperation with our partners. This retreat, which is to assess achievements, challenges, and future plans of MPA, provides a platform first to showcase with evidence, and second, to use the evidence in management decision making, and to strengthen our commitment towards the strong performance and service delivery from MPA, and in formulating strong policy. This retreat, I believe, will further serve as a trigger for sharing the experience, emerging practices in MPA, in their delivery, and a new knowledge to entrench the culture of accountability in all MPA. I've emphasized that accountability is crucial, considering that it increases the adoption in the public sector to enhance performance towards achieving aspirations in the new direction agenda. Our national development plan, the African Agenda 2063, and the Sustainable Development Goals. It's been a long time from the time we were small people that the people of Sierra Leone have been crying for results that positively impact their lives. In recent times, our development partners, policymakers, legislators, and other leaders are all yearning for credible and high-quality evidence on which to base their decisions in policy making and program planning. In the absence of credible information, most leaders and decision makers rely on untested views, often inspired by a theological standpoint, lack of facts, prejudices, or most times purely speculation. On the contrary, the National Monitoring and Evaluation Directorate, the Office of the President, will work with the Ministry of Information and Communication to insist on results more than on processes and intentions. Most times we will hear development partners, sometimes our ministers, sometimes director generals of agencies and departments that we talk about, I want to do this, I plan to do this. come a year or two later, they will still tell you, I plan to do this and I want to do this. This is something we should try as best as we can to move away from. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm stressing on results from credible data because Sierra Leone is making necessary strides now in tracking implementation of our development agenda through effective monitoring and evaluation. Moreover, I want to stress that NAMED will help to see that as a country, we are making progress in instituting or institutionalizing monitoring and evaluation to effectively track the implementation of our development agenda at the national and sub-national level, and meet the local councils. However, we are still experiencing poor delivery of development projects. We are still experiencing late delivery of projects or not delivered at all. And most especially, the mismanagement of projects associated with public funds. Let me give you some simple examples. We have been mandated to look at projects, all projects in the national committee approved by Parliament every year. MBA is mandated to send this project so that we can tell the finance ministry to pay or not to pay. Mr. Vice President and Ministers present here. A project was sent to us that is 100% complete. We went and assessed the project, it was like 60% complete. We went to a village in the north and we met the local chief and the headmaster. We are looking for school A. He says that is the school A you are looking for. That is complete. We showed him the picture, a complete picture of the building. That school was a stick and patch. What we call AFA. The cities were more blocked with pain and loss. Money gone. So I took a step that our chiefs have a structure in this country. Every chiefdom has a subsection, and every subsection has terms. Each term, each subsection, and a chiefdom do have chiefs. If you put that together, you get a district. And you put the districts together, you get the district. So I partner with them to be monitored. In less than 1 week, a chief in the Connaught district sent us a photo of the contractor building a bridge that put banana under it, banana stem, and covered it with mud. Another chief sent me a photo, I can give you of a culvert that the iron rod that was in there was smaller than this. Just 2 vehicles crossing that culvert, there was a big boom. Contractor paid, money gone. It is a promise I'm making. Every other CSO and journalist, you are all monitored. Every single Sierra Leonean should be the monitor. We are saying this thing to social media now that ordinary people are telling us this is not well done. The stories are meant. Not here to deliberate on that. Mr. Vice President, Dr. Judy Charles, these are things I believe are the center of your heart. Allow me to say something that you and I encountered, which gave me the confidence that we have the right people in office. I was looking at 100 solar boreholes that was also sent to my office that is fully completed. Somebody threatened me that I will take it to higher authority. And I'm sure the Vice President was happy to listen to him as a citizen. And the Vice President called me and I said, sir, that project is not fully completed yet. They have problems. They need to go back to the field. You can imagine how it will panic when you pay the call. And the Vice President told me, Dr. Edwin, go on, produce a result. I followed that message that he gave to me. And I told him that go do it. Yesterday, he sent me a report, 100 solar poles completed. You can imagine if it was the wrong person. This guy had told me, you're not starting in IMEC. And you would have said, oh, come on, tell the men and pay. You understand it? So when I think of next year, put the right people in the right place. That is why I'm telling us here today. It is time for us to move in a new direction. We have established a robust national monitoring and evaluation system. It is all computerized. And I want to present this later on. I want to get out with the Vice President. That you can be in any part of the world. You don't need to talk to anybody. And see the water well in any place that you want to see. You can see how much is allocated to that. And you can see the progress and progress of the project. That is the type of transparency we want to put into this country. And the accountability to our people. It's only when we have accountability that we can move on. Ladies and gentlemen, as I conclude this, I take the opportunity to particularly appreciate the support and commitment received from the chief. Julius, part of you, and especially particular technical and moral support from the Vice President, Dr. Julia Child. We have also received the buy-in and support from most ministries. I want to mention the Minister of Learning and Economic Development. We therefore encourage all FDAs, the media and CSOs to work with NABET to establish culture of human need in this country. To the Ministry of Information and Communication and its committed minister, the partnership with NABET has just begun. But I want to say we'll continue to work with you and prepare for the second term. We assure you as NABET that we are prepared at any time and at any moment to provide you with the right information so that you can disseminate the gains the government is making, the constraints faced, and highlight unsatisfactory performance. I thank you all for the work.
Thank you very much. As you speak to us, I was wondering why you don't have the response. I just want to like on the other side whether you are represented in the South. Then no, but I think we need it. So I think we need representation at the regional. Thank you very much. Can we give me a round again? The next person, the chairman of the ISP, Dr. Victor Mata. Chairman, ISP. That's right.
Mr. Chairman, good morning. Honorable Vice President, good morning. I would like to extend my deepest thanks and appreciation to the Ministry for this opportunity. So, Mr. Chairman, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the Human Capital Development Scheme is a brilliant initiative by this government designed to get all of us to make our small or significant contribution development of this country. For us in the media, a critical component in the democratic credentials of any nation are functions over many dimensions, not least media investment, media research, media development, media regulation, media monitoring, and sustainability. Mr. Chairman, may I inform you that all what we do at the IMC is informed by the IMC Act of 2020, which is the legal instrument that regulates the operations of the Commission. The 2020 Act has been intentionally summarized into 4 strategic outcomes or pillars guiding the directions of the IMC. 1, enhance regulation and media license. 2, improve monitoring, research, and information. 3, develop capacity building, staff training, international exposure, and office equipment. 4, increase sustainability, which implements aggressive resource mobilization, income diversification, and support the media. Mr. Chairman, in the last 12 months, since we took office as Commissioner of the IMC, we are humbled and privileged to share with you or with this dignified gathering the many successes despite countless challenges, particularly the paucity of financial resources occasioned by the Russia-Ukraine war and the global corona crisis. Mr. Chairman, in March 2022, we quickly conducted an assessment of the IMC operations and we identified 6 challenges. And of those 6 challenges, we also identified the improved staff discontent, low moral of staff, poor salary, inadequate subvention, poor training, and weak regulations. And I'm sure the president of that will be an witness because he was part of that. In the midst of all of those challenges, ladies and gentlemen, we have been able to see the confines of the medium-term national development plan, we have been able to succeed. Mr. Chairman, I have over 30 successes about just 25 because of that. The very first one, Mr. Chairman, is that the IMC for the last 10 years, nobody in that institution has ever gone out of the country to participate in international seminars where they enhance their capacity. And we have been able to send about 3 of our commissioners out of the country, and also 3 of our senior staff who are currently in Ghana to participate in a workshop where hopefully when they come back to them to be able to Ghana, they will be able to apply that when they come back to the IMC, but not just the IMC, but also to the media ecosystem of this country. And also, Mr. Chairman, for 8 months we did not, the IMC will start to make sure, fortunately for us, we were able to negotiate with the Ministry of Finance, and we were able to get something which we are now able to implement our programs. And Mr. Chairman, as part of our program is to explore other possibilities for fundraising, and we've been able to attract the European Union and a couple of other agencies to fund the IMC. And one of them, we are working together with that. And so, Mr. Chairman, a couple of our colleagues participated in international seminars. Sorry for the interruption. Please, we just ask the institutions and technical people to come across there and continue the activity. So, Mr. Chairman, the couple of our colleagues participated in that, and also the media, we have done called media counseling. Mr. Chairman, you know, we are approaching elections, and you know how difficult that year can be. And as I speak to you, we called about 10 of the most challenging media houses in Britain, and he was there, the president was there, and we informed the Minister of Information in also for that. We called them and we had discussions. And we felt that now that is just one way we can get the media to participate, but not just participate in democratic process, but also to explain certain things with respect to the act and also the code. Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Vice President, I am deeply pleased to inform you that as we speak, we are a couple of days ago, and two important regulations will be made in Parliament in the next couple of next week. And those regulations, the first one, they have been presented already. The first one is the revised media code of practice, and then also the second one is the election reporting guidelines for media practitioners. So we implement the next election that is coming next. Every media practitioner is expected to comply with specific, and fortunately for us, Mr. Chairman, is that every detail in those documents, the journalists, every journalist in this country, particularly those who are functioning, they participated in the production of these documents. So nobody will say that what they did not consult. We did extensive consultation across the country. I see some of the journalists are smiling, they were there, they knew exactly what we discussed. And also, Mr. Chairman, I am also very deeply pleased to inform you that when we came on board about a year ago, close to a year ago, we met over 15 cases at the ISP. You know, the ISP has the judicial, has the high court staff to begin the cases. And we met about 15 cases. And of course, we know the two Meridian opinions. We met 15 cases, and as I think, Mr. Chairman, we only have one person. We have been able to address most of them already. Yes, and what we do is that once we are done with the cases, the results, the hearings, the rulings are published. They are not just published, but they are also given to the media and the corporate board of them. So for us to serve and to public health. So fortunately for us, one of our big problems as media regulators is to license newspapers or media in general. Mr. Chairman, I'm pleased to let you know that as part of the plurality of media, we have been able to register 5 newspapers between January this year to now. We have been able to register 5 newspapers after they've gone through all the rigors of the processes put in place. And also, I know my good friends would love to hear it. We have been able to register 14 radio stations and television. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to give you all. I will just I will hand over to the director. I want to thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, speak your pardon, we have been advised to have a break for 5-10 minutes. If anything is right, to rectify this is thank you.
So when we get now, hello. Yeah, so there is a technical issue with as announced by the Deputy Minister of Information with the electrical issue, the electricity. They get on each the electrification of this place. So they don't switch on everything up at the moment, and they will try to fix that problem there in about 5 minutes, and they will resume.
Okay, so let me basically go into some of the highlights them, some of the things them where the different no speaker them don't say. Let's start with Slash, for example. What in have been the key word, the key message where Slash pass?
Slash, just a moment. Let me see my notes. Okay, so what we have. Okay, so the president of Slash in the address, in the at the very outset, he make it very clear for let the public understand in this particular session, not to then kind of session the way the public for perceive or see and say media don't sell out or the government don't buy the media. No. It's time for distinguish the fact that this is an engagement forum which is very, very critical and necessary if we are to deepen democratic dispensation and accountability framework as well. Then, of course, the President of Flag also make mention or cited the benefits of the repeal of the criminal libel law, Part 5 in particular, where they deal with the where they actually criminalize operations as journalists and civil society. They talk about how that law helped for the country take a leap in international indexes. The press freedom index we rate it don't increase, it don't go up, and other indexes as well. It also talk about the fight against misinformation and disinformation as we approach the election. One of the critical things where the Vice President try for hammer home is that at this particular point in time, it's necessary for let's large establish that partnership with the AMB, that election management bodies, for make we because large intend for set up a situation room for the counter disinformation and misinformation, but they rely on cogent, timely, factual, credible, reliable information from the various sectors them. So, for example, if somebody is saying that, oh, now so next they do, next for be bold enough for, team Sludge with the correct information, so Sludge will able to dispel their misinformation or disinformation, particularly those ones that we can spread now the social media, we basically not they under any formal or strict regulation. Then we also talk about the cost of living, where encourage government for increased salaries of public sector workers so that it will be commensurate with the standard and cost of living. We always say basic commodity prices, they all don't go up exponentially. One bag dress today is, quality dress, you want buy one quality bag rice, it's about almost the minimum wage, which is 600 leon or 600,000 old leon. So imagine if you buy that one, it means that you want month salary don't. So it urge or try to advocate for an increase in the salary or wage, so that people then will get livable income. And so basically that is talk. Of course, Andrew Lavalier, representing the civil society, spoke about the civil society cooperating with government for ensure that service delivery reach the people, delivery in the areas of education, in health, in making of our governance institutions, etc. Then we get a very intriguing, as I will put, presentation, or just a short statement done by the chairperson for the National Monitoring and Evaluation Department, when NAMED, when an institution where the government set up for monitor and evaluate development projects, the way government they fund, and the way government can fund in partnership with development partners or co-funded with NGOs. Some of the things we highlight that they encounter challenges with regards to the attitude of contractors. They're making claims, say they don't go implement the project, they don't complete projects, but we don't go monitor now, they find out that the project is today way below completion rate.
And this is not different from waiting the UNDP and other donor body that we don't see. Like for example, at one point UNDP been trying for talk say, then they spend a lot of money, but the zeal for make them implement them projects that they can say them there about for make them, but when they watch a way they below waiting they happen, and this will get for tell on the country, because they say other country then they want that kind of money they. So if we not able for use with money for implement projects then they will get for move that money there to another country where they really they use their own to the best of their ability. So what did he say this will cost them?
One of it's really funny. I highlight one example where say a contractor for construct 100 boreholes in Kono district, and the contractor said now, so they don't construct all the boreholes, they send picture of completed boreholes constructed. Then when they go check now, they find out, say, oh, either way below, it's about less than 60% of 20 they don't do, whether they like, they don't complete everything. So the institution now informs finance ministry that they should not pay that contractor until unless they complete the work. So the contractor will take the report now, creating the NAMED boss say, it will show how that be reported to vice president. Vice president call him now. When he inquire, tell the vice president that man not complete the work on it. So therefore, I make asylum up here. And then vice president now begin for back in the NAMED boss for say, that's a very good job, and make it see to it that the contractor finish the job before he ever receive a final payment. So, according to Abite, yesterday,
now serious thing, because it just to show you how people are ready to give contracts because they're linked to one particular set of people who want for use advantage and eat money without they not even deliver on waiting and they pay them for.
Well, that is just why I can imagine how many other, sectoral health care would encounter such challenge. You know, say a situation where sometimes the person is highly connected that you they go monitor and apply for give an accurate report or picture of what don't happen. Then if you go meet up some kind of a corrupt high political head, then sometimes soon after the and the commission now, then you report or you own institution way for actually presenting through an accurate account of what has happened will be somehow, redundant and looked down upon and all that stuff or undermined, so to speak. So that is exactly the picture he highlights here, but says that he has the confidence and support of the vice president. Now, one of the reasons that they will make they continue to push for the right thing in office. And I think that office as time will go by in the coming weeks, probably we'll therefore book an appointment for engage them on the work and we'll get more and more of them stories there, because these are very intriguing facts and where the public needs to know. And according to I say, don't engender the participation of the community people and the chiefs. You don't get a partnership with all chiefs them for the help and for the monitor development projects for the community. And just recently, after the formation of them partnership, and they don't receive plenty reports from some chiefdoms, different chiefdoms and communities as to the level or the degree of projects away some contractors that they claim they don't fully implement now their community the way actually in fact not be implemented completely.
All right. So, who that again don't actually give you input?
Well, these are just the few speakers there. We don't give very significant and intriguing picture of when the ministry or the parastatals or Western institutions then they do. We expect to get more after the light is being restored. And at the moment, we see everybody is outside, or rather most people are outside. And just try for next stretch a little bit. We see there is a banner out there which reads Women in Action as Friends of Vice President to welcome Dr. Mohamed Juliet Jallo to Kenema City. And we see earlier on the bike man said they display recognition of solidarity support for the presence or arrival of the Vice President in the city. And more people are coming in.
Okay, are you see like the mobile phone company then they inside the right now?
Yes, the two main mobile phone companies there, the Orange and of course the Africell, then there's Bootsen here. Normally I don't know whether they are actually contributed to sponsoring this particular retreat, but the two previous retreats where government holds, that he always gets a boost and the government regarded them as partners in development. And of course, Africell more especially don't they do a lot when it comes to community social corporate responsibility and in terms of supporting government programs and policies as well. In fact, the two companies and then they build schools, construction at the country, they promote digital inclusion. Africell, for instance, has just about just over 11 or 12 partnerships with plenty different banking institutions wherein people are able to put and pull money through the Afri money. Always get a few partnerships with a few banking institutions. So the two companies are here and they display the products and services for whoever is interested. to engage them.
So almost people in already take say now make up the list for this particular event.
Well, that I have to confer with the ministry officials. As of now, I know that by estimation, all the people have 500 or between 500 and 1,000. I can't tell for exactly. Bampia there, who is one of the ministry officials, you can tell Bampia Mundu, I mean, almost delegates going to invite to for this particular conference.
Probably budget target about 300 delegates. Yeah, then I will go through the conference today and tomorrow. And of course, you know, this is an open ceremony and get other stakeholders that we invite from various MDAs and of course, you telcos and around the communication companies when come around, and then also then is the people of Kenema. So we also invite, so as we see, we get close to 600 more people so they witness the opening ceremony. After this part of the program, we return out to the presentation proper. We are in the CSI MDAs from MDAs that will come and do updates with regards to what they don't do over the years.
So by the time, I'll just come in quickly.
Okay,
yes, by the time una they done this Bampia, by the time una they done this particular event, this particular presentation, what una they expect from the media and the civil society organizations them or the civil society activists them?
Well, actually, of course, as you know, this CSO media engagement, and of course, over the years, we get journalism where they find them difficult, or talk to ministers, journalists where they find them difficult, or talk to even directors or heads of MDAs. So this particular platform where the ministry creates to ensure we bridge the gap between the media, CSOs, and the government. Wherein the whole will come out together, media will get the opportunity to ask questions, they will not be able to ask from January to now, and they will ask some questions from me. You understand? And then also
so how accessible then the MDAs they have to be for the media, for make they get the information? Because the truth is, when they're not able to talk to the right people, then they pass on the wrong information. But if they're able to talk to the right people, the right information will go at the right time for the people able to get them done. So how accessible, una feel say that kind of things here, so not only for this event, but after this going forward, for letting people and be able to reach onto ministers, onto directors, and all of them people there.
Well, this name the Ministry of Information, and of course the minister should always be young for just to create the platform between the CSOs, the media, and then also the people who will come together and we always talk. Because most of them, the MDAs, they are actually coming upon the heads, especially something tied up on other activities. But such platforms are already created, so I will give them the opportunity to be able to talk to the media, able to explain, able to talk to them exactly what they don't do, what are challenges, what are the plans to what they don't put forward. But of course, the minister, in fact, then one of the agenda way they push to ensure we get discussions where they do between the media and MDAs, so that we will always get that discussion to the flow, information to the flow.
Information, and you then are the strategic communication unit. One of the things we're very key, because I don't do one and I don't do two and number three this. Now the question is what we want to put to the minister before we get technical issue. So we find out, say, like the last one and the second one, the amount of questions, the way people they ask, is not enough. And in some cases, some people instead of asking questions, then go they give some things then when I sort of praise them. And the government need critical people and critical views for let them able to see whose side they go right or whose side they go wrong. How una they ensure say una actually get critical, views them from people them when it comes to that point of dialogue, question and answer session.
Of course, during question and answer session, you get close to 400 delegates or 300 delegates to be seated. And then of course, it's not going to be possible for the MDAs, the lady at the panel, to answer to all the questions that they ask them to. Some questions and they will not be able to answer them, or some people will not be able to respond to the question. Now, the most often I'm not to always have a discussion with you. If you feel like I'm not for example, CSOs, 5, 6 other different questions, I can bring them together
You understand? That's what I usually in the manner that when I ask them, and when you get to the, I mean, the MBAs, they explain to them, they will explain to them adequately. But know that 50-60 questions are one session, then you expect a lot of answers, all the questions that will be coming. If they all come in, you get other sessions then, so that you can understand more enough. If you only get 2 days, Kenema also, to address all the issues also. And most of the other issues then, after the presentation could happen, you can normally create opportunity for the media and the CSOs then, to talk to the MBAs then one-on-one. In that sense, if the question is during the presentation, and sometimes I think you want to address anybody else, if you now go to the head or the first lady the presentation, or the engager, now that we all there to, it's simple and it's very much easy to talk to any heads of NGOs, even ministers where they are, to talk to them, and if you ask a question, and if you respond to the advocate.
All right, thank you very much, Bampia.
Report to go back inside the hall, and so I need to actually position myself in the layout of this so that we get that picture quality, forget the sound and everything.
Okay, not a problem. We still did live na Kenema. We try to get waiting and waiting because the government say then they present the scorecard today. So we get with man down there where actually they give live coverage of waiting they happen. We don't talk to the Minister of Information. Although we get along the way because of technical issue, we know we continue to get some good questions for them. We get the Deputy Minister of Information where himself they don't make his own point, and now we just don't get member from the Strategic Communications Unit, now the Ministry of Information and Communication, when Patriotism where himself don't explain things them where we need to understand. You know, one very important thing at the area of accessibility, you know, how for make sure say the ministers them, the MDs them, you know, ministry, departments and agencies, they're really accessible. They not pick and choose who that they for talk to, who that they not for talk to. That is very, very key in this particular discussion. But right now, then they can go stop, then we get a break because of another technical issue from their own side. Electrical problem, you know. The first break might be because of light code, the second one an electrical problem. But then they can go start again. So we will join them for let we see waiting and waiting. Actually, the happen na Kenema, outside the government, they present then governance card. So the CSOs and media as na then can be the liaison. In other words, they always middle between the government and the people them. So this now we are on YouTube and on Facebook, and we get with man down when Lawrence there with three for make we able to get the right information really come out from the Ministry of Information with regards the government issue. So we just go now for go continue, and we listen to a few speakers them after the Vice President giving keynote address. We get a break in the broadcast, and later before the program they done, or when the program done, we'll get a small discussion with CSO, you know, media and the government people them. For that we talk about what you can see so far with all of this, yeah? So this now the thing so far when you go on, when you try to go back, with all everything at the all again for see how best. Lawrence, we get dark screen, I don't know why.
Yes, and I just thank you, Sharon, just one try for connect
no problem. So we actually they wait for let we see waiting the happen. We get a lot of people then. Please if you come now for share the program, and then you share the program. And if today not the very first time for let you join me, this now we are on YouTube and on Facebook. Well, we there for all the government to account on different things them. You know, we not go all opposition because not all them in a power, but notwithstanding we get for as well the checkmate them. But the government are then in a position of trust and then they handle with day-to-day affairs, so we day for handle them 90% in terms of accountability, and 10% get for do the opposition in any other business. So if you get interested in all of what we do, then please hit the subscribe button and follow me on Facebook. Hit the subscribe button for we on YouTube, so you'll be able to get a lot of information there, or a lot of analysis that we will carry it for you. And interestingly, we get the program where we look at newspapers them where they come out every day. Where we call progress, where we can get experts them, you know, people where they come and analyze the news them where they come up every day. And then on net, you get Bible and Sembepi and myself, Sembepi and Bible, we can actually analyze the other part of the story them. This now your opinion we can give and the way how we see things then they go. When a lot of people don't see this platform as very important and useful. So if you just join me, I hope you will find it very interesting. We try to see how best we can put things them in place for make we see how the our activity will start. Let me see how the whole activity will start as we get with mandate right now. We try to figure out how it can put things in place for let me get the information as and when it come inside. This is my program. We are on YouTube and Facebook with over 61,000 subscribers on YouTube and with over 32,000 followers on Facebook. Well, I don't know which category we will put this if one of the biggest, or we could say now one of the trend platforms that this right now in the country. But it's up to you for just watch all around and see what we can do and see how much family members that we get. Well, with the time for make sure that we bring to you a lot of programs them, a lot of information them, because this time around we want everybody for benefit from anything that happen. So at this particular point in time, we get for the creative programs them, we're not going to pick and choose at all. A lot of times people ask, hey, where you get this minister, why you get this somebody, we need fast and question. We get for creative programs them, where we actually the count them people here. As they don't start them today for open, so the people for let them ask them questions, we self get for make sure so we go down to them, so we will get the actual information, and then you will able to ask the right question to them when they will appear on our platform. In the Blue Mind program, in the normal program, we get for the make sure so we bring them come, let you actually hear it. Both the opposition, both the government, for let you hear it because it's about time for let you hear it. Waiting they don't do, and waiting they not do it. And the one that we want to take over, waiting they get to offer. All of the things that you get for the see how best we can try for do that one day. Well, we go try for work with the team. Let me see how best we put things that in place for let you get the right information. Because like we tell you, lots of programs that we just samba. You know when we start with we say, okay, let me see how best we can engage people. We say Blue Mind. People they appreciate Blue Mind. Then we say, okay, let me see how we can do other things. Colors. Now we see people they get some interest on the colors. As time they go now, so we introduce other programs them and they bring other team members them for let them actually be part of the team and let me get this platform for be bigger than waiting we want them for be. So right now we did na Kenema who signed government representing CORECARD, for let people see waiting they don't do it and waiting they don't do. In the last term, lawyers when they get analysis say when they present the last time they say they don't do plenty things. So if you can see now waiting they happen right now, other MDS them they come and report say now then kind of challenges that they get and all of those things they do. So let me continue to watch and stay with this particular platform so you go able to know it will happen. If you interest for let me know what is exactly the vice president who can call deputy caretaker get to say with regards this particular thing and how far they don't go as a government. We just hope and pray that the reception is very, very correct. This now we are on YouTube and on Facebook. While we wait for let them figure out something, let me just watch this particular term where the president who can call the caretaker, they make in statement amongst one time for the independence. We're very important. When they come back just now, as then they try to figure out things then.
As a country, we don't come far as an independent nation. Plenty can say 60 years of independence, which we don't achieve. Well, my simple answer to that is this. For make progress as a nation, not so easy thing. Not to one person in business, not to one tribe or region. It therefore take all effort to make we move the nation. We can pray today so that all which we don't learn in 60 years as an independent nation, we go use them for go before. We don't fight, we don't divide, we don't do plenty of bad things then we do what we did today. We're not proud of ourselves. And as how I hear it inside the Kutuba, where you want to make somebody be patriotic, you pick yourself if you want me to be proud of you. Now for make you don't say you don't succeed, you do good things then. You know the tell us to go, now he going to go boast for you about who that you be. But the one thing very interesting about this nation, who we have to take seriously, and the fact say we accept say God now create you all, God now responsible for all now, and that now we all get for go answer to. And that God day, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, nothing is impossible for him. Anything we want to do, we do. Waiting what a man the fee say not possible, it make them possible. That now right across the Christian and the Muslim. So we can here today for mark this occasion by on this Juma, through this Juma prayer, come on ask and back. Plenty man can say we don't wait 60 years. Me, I can say, I will say, we don't wait 60 years. Most of the nations the way we they admire, also want for go live, they're not being just scrap and be the beautiful and great nations where they be today. They go through wars, they go through the young stages. Waiting they do, where most important, we make with the admire them today, they learn from the lessons of all the problems that we then go through, and then decide for make say, one, we know the faith again. We will talk about democracy, now for make we able to change power from one group of people or from one person to another in a peaceful way. Now that democracy they about. May we all agree saying that this person is the leader, now this party is the lead way. So now make all that they be. What will they talk about? Institutions. Then create an institution then they for mediate. Okay, constitution now for regulate how things they happen in the country. So million prayer to God today. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now for make it accept we with all we see in this nation. But make you know say with all the challenges and we see that we continue for look up to them. For make it guide me. For make it protect me. And for make we give you the leadership we need, we get the people at heart, we will make we change for the better. Today, we don't gather. Sunday, the Christians themselves, we simply gather back. But one beautiful thing we will celebrate, we will not even celebrate. Now the fact say, we Muslims then, we Christians then, we gather together and pray under the same roof. Sometimes we share the altar. This nothing will not possible other side in the world. We take her for granted because we don't get problem with her. We deny her all the time. But if we get for export anything around the world, come here they know say a special group of people that live in the world where they take God, that one they get a different name, the other one they get a different name. But all say no sin at God. If I began tell me say that to some other creature when they pray to me, me not for don't live out of now. But when I call Allah, me call him God. Now language is the difference. And when you watch, when you read the Bible very well, especially the Old Testament, and you study the Quran very well, then you know say the one the way they make plaba, not to forget that they make that plaba. The one the way they kill people, they say now two different, you know, not to God in name. In fact, judgment day get for come. We get forget plenty for Allah before God. Because people then they kill in the name of Allah. People then they destroy and compete in the name of Allah. Not in the name of Allah. But fortunately for we know here, and the beauty is, I don't know inside church where I see Imam who Quran, it's up at the altar, it is deliver, which one they call Kutuba. In the top, you know, and inside Catholic Church, one of the stiffest churches that we camp change. Now only inside Salon that is possible. So we for celebrate that, we for be happy say we live in harmony. That same harmony we for extend that to politics. If Christian and Muslim able to sit on one side, then they pray. Why APC and SLPP not forget this one host? Why for won't we come to them? For waiting. Because this one I read, the other one agree. And the one thing that will not hold way back in this country. And I will continue for pray. As I don't give me the confidence of being a leader. Not to choose me, but God direct me for saying.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. We have a serious problem with our economy. And to deal with this problem, we have to introduce some discipline in the way we spend the people's money. First is expenditure control. The APC government has been spending like drunken sailors. They'll spend, the SLPP government left a reserve of over 5 billion leons and a foreign debt of about $250 million. As I speak to you, I'm just confirming what you said. We have a foreign debt of about 1.6 billion today. And of course, that tells you there's no reserve at all. This sort of reckless spending on the part of the government has created serious challenges for the people of this country. We have to introduce stringent measures. We also have to mobilize domestic revenue. We have to stop excessive tax exemptions due to waivers. That way we can create the savings necessary to support the government to pay for some of the essential services instead of having to depend on other countries or development cooperation partners to fund our own existence as a government.
We, the tribe, as an organization, foresee, on the question of economic management of the resources, public finances, whether this government actually committed to corruption, and the pronouncement of the government, both in the manifesto before the kind of power and then performance over this period of 3 years, whether exactly the public pronouncements match the actual performance. Where we publish, for example, the Office of the First Lady saying that the Office of the First Lady received an illegal budgetary allocation of $3 million, the equivalent of $3 million in less than 3 years. The Office of the First Lady come out, the First Lady come out and say, yes, he received the money, and he begin to justify. So basically, there has never been any of the publications running up to almost a year now by the African Express in which any of these officials deny the authenticity of the publications. What they have been trying to do is to rationalize, or justify their action.
I spend money, office they spend money. They're not missing a corruption. If I spend 10 billion, they're not missing a corruption. The most important thing is I follow the procedure for make sure say, my office, we get for us, if my office follow the procedure, forget the money. Where they spend the money, they account for them, and waiting a use of the office or anybody where they say they're accused of corruption, whether they use the money for the purpose for which they say.
You cannot put a thief to take care of your money. So we need to hire who forget people and we now sober-minded people, and when are corrupt-free, they record the show, where they put into place. Because what it mean, money we mean for 30,000 people, now in one minister they take, it build big all the mansions them. So we need to put the right people where go able to govern this country. So one of them key in leadership, now the right people are around you. So that's not how my government will be responsible.
We are a government that is struggling. We have to make sure that we have to go again and borrow because our revenue is not performing. Activities have been slow. And of course, it has disrupted supply chains from around the world. So prices are almost doubling with deteriorating exchange rate in our country. It's even worse. We have to stop excessive tax exemptions due to waivers. That way we can create the savings necessary to support the government to pay for some of the essential services instead of having to depend on other countries or development cooperation partners to fund our own existence as a government. We have struggled quite a lot with this explanation for the richer nations to understand the need for us to put our debt aside for now. Because, for instance, we use 70% of our monthly revenue coming in to just pay for the public service teachers and all the other things. The other 30%, 20% goes into just debt servicing, we are left with only 10% to fulfill our social pledges. It is extremely tight. The fiscal margin is so tight, we can hardly do anything to improve.
When I talk about this donor, this is not the country where government, the past, this is not just APC, but APC and SPP. When they give more money, you go bigger, then give more money, then they cry, oh my God, the party woke. Now look, they don't go give away more money. It's shameful. They know they think about how for go talk about trade, all then they think about how for bigger, for get more money. And like I said, the reckless spending of this government must stop. And with my government, I will make sure that I put in place responsible financial dealings that will benefit the average Sierra Leoneans.
Cash. It don't happen. See government. See government. Government where move. Government where no why. See leaders. See leaders where.
Searching for greatness in a sea of the dying and shameless, a sea of the aimless. I don't wanna be one of the nameless. I'ma wake up with the mindset that one day I'm gonna make it, and I don't think I'll be fine if I don't break my limitations. Don't try to stop me, I exist to write my own story. I'll make a decision if I want some peace or if I want the glory. Don't want a life that is complacent or possibly boring. Just want a life that is worth every day exploring.
My whole life I just wanted someone who would notice me. My whole life I just wanted to be somebody to be. Yeah, I just wanna be great. 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 Yeah, I just wanna be great.
Appreciate all that is vacant. It's just for the taking. If you make up your mind, you can take it. I'm never complacent. I would work in a mansion or basement. Yeah, there's no replacement for persistence. It's a patience. Yeah, in this life, I wanna be soaring to feel sun inside when it's pouring, and I'll fight till anxiety is foreign. I'm so sick.
Understand? And we know see if una kind. Come in and we begin engage with you. You understand? And I will tell you for free, my brother, no government not succeed without smaller parties. No government not succeed without smaller parties. If today the thing is very easy for una delegate today, not because of una very support of APA. APC if them for don't drag SLPP in all the different, you understand? Because one or another talk man this diplomacy on the play, it affects una. We see the August 10th insurrection. Now when we come out as an association, condemn the thing, you understand? See, both of them call names. You get me? Even this PR system, had it been APA, it should have been very, very difficult for SLPP. It should have been very, very, very difficult. You understand? But you know, they reflect. But the party, you know, get people like Unakai, where you go able to see. In fact, now we are now value than even the SLPP people. And now we are very close to election. Making on the focus, like the strategy we use, very, very, very good. Now you don't need SLPP. You need opponents. You need political parties. You need waiting course. You understand? So that the right approach you take, so the right movement. But everything you say, you said it all. Trust me, my brother. Even for a month, We don't get informed when they see every month. If now one back send them, they give them leaders and then they can go now also see the support. So if we work them and we think that we man and the point finger, we say, well, they kill myself no more.
Shame now we in civil society, they go to parliament, they go take sides. Shameful. Shameful. Women them have to take sides against the PR system. We come for better woman. Shame. So if I can stop there,
probably sometime now that the time I reach for like bringing a strong liaison, we be able to make the bar know some of the activity and bridge the gap between the bar and because for State House, I'm not saying they all look to SFPO, but some then they really if you look at the action, you want out if you don't have 2 years because if you now me na PLP, I didn't governance. All where they look around me, waiting to make us succeed. Forget about SFP members. They already on my own day. We are there outside. Because if they come and say power win, who are them? The internal community look the other parties and we did majority out of 17, we 11. If 11 say everything fair and fair, we endorse. That's it. So if that simple declaration day, it's very important past the early vote.
And I wish I had the opportunity for let Mother listen direct from in quiet time, I will put time and listen all to what I don't say. It is not just limited to you. Even there are people who fought with Mother or fought for her. They go through the same pain when I go through. Yeah. The same. And when they go like somebody talk now, then they go misrepresent the reality to Mother. They will tell him, we don't do this for that person. Exactly. Good. It is not really. All the time you talk, not to lie. You see, but when you are the president of this country or any side, the things that are around you, that one touch with people. Now people that go for states where they can't see you. And there are people not only that detail whether they see Mother and they survive. That is their own employment. Yes. And they are misrepresenting the president in will and wish for in people. It is disheartening. I'm sitting here, but I know the pains that all the pass through. So all the they explain to me, it hurts me inside. Because if you have this group, now people that they represent, the people they suffer also, that they can't see why they support the system. There's a way they support you back, they explain all the suffering. Oh. That is why I have always followed him. Because the strategies we use, very key. There's not one sector where this part of engage when they express these feelings. He started with the paramount chiefs. Nobody know the way they know they achieve that. So authorities start there. No paramount chief know the way, no sabi in town chief or section chief. So if you go do something at the paramount chief in your own background, you don't know self. If one see president, make here opportunity for see president. And the same thing with the paramount chief I want to talk. If the paramount chiefs support you, they're right the whole. They know they accommodate stranger. So those are the strategies anybody will like the president for we look at. Go outside the political party and make friends. But that is what is really lacking in State House. Sometimes I also say is perhaps it is because State House full of people will not be there.
Exactly. You have spoken.
But because we all there, we know ourselves. We know that if something happens and we go for suffer, you plan for how it for sustainer. But it is never too late. We are not here promising anything. I'm not allowed to promise anything. But I only wish they're going to be the talk. The president, the listener, are informed. So this is what your people are feeling. That one are important, pass any other thing. That pressure group, if you're able to put it under control. And atmosphere, and this was very powerful. Yes. That one touch. Yes. No matter how somebody vulgar against Anes, if it hits you, The language they change. But people are so sandwich mother. If you cheat, the other person not come near. And even when this man is passed, he's not a government employee. Nothing. All them movements already made. People hate just because they bring the reality to the person. It's not they get mad. You understand? But we know they relent. I've always said this country never produced bad leader. People around the president, the leaders, are the poison. They will give them bad information. You know, we give them the reality of situation. But people, when they between you and people, are they mislead you. All the things that will past leaders don't tell you. Makaba will get about that. And then say we change with attitude. We didn't change our attitude, and that bad attitude now wants to take to a new direction. Again from one away. But we don't relent. This is our country. That we all know, if we vex, now we see your APC kind of power in this immediate future. We'll be finished. We'll be worse than people that will hate. You understand? Not that we enjoy. Not enjoy. But if APC can now, this short time, that vengeance will get. Me and you will feel so we suffer. We will suffer more. So all these things, what would they do so? Try for connect the president in people. Try for guarantee in second time. Perhaps that 5 years going. This thing. Necessarily they will not be saturated with the evil that they push aside. Or natural intervention will happen. Yeah? I very much appreciate all the things I don't say.
You understand? And we know see if una kind come in and we begin engage with you. You understand? And I will tell you for free, my brother, no government not succeed without smaller parties. No government not succeed without smaller parties. If today they think it's very easy for una delegate today, not because of una very support of APA. APC if them for don't drag SNPP in all the different, you understand? Because one will not get talk man this diplomacy when they play, it affects now. We see the August 10th insurrection. Now when we come out as an association, condemn the thing, you understand? See both of them call names. You get me? Even this PR system, had it been APA, it should have been very, very difficult for SNPP. It should have been very, very, very difficult. You understand? But you know they reflect. But the party, you know, get people like Unakai, where you go to see. In fact, now we are now value than even the SLPP people. And now we are very close to election. Making on the focus level, strategy we use very, very, very good. Now you don't need SLPP. You need opponents. You need political parties. You need what's the call? You understand? So that the right approach you take, so the right movement. But what you say, you said it all. Trust me, my brother. Even for a month, we don't get a promise where they say every month. If now one back send them, they give them leaders and they get on our see the support. So if we work them and we feel that we mind and the point finger, we say, well, they kill ourselves no more.
Shame now we and civil society, they go to parliament, they go take sides. Shameful. Shameful. Women them have them take sides.
I have taken a closer look at the agreement, and I think it's good in a considerable respect. But I wish to draw the attention of the minister to a burning issue. Mr. Speaker, I wish to state at this point that it is no secret that the prices of goods in Sierra Leone are becoming uncontrollable. The citizens of this nation are crying. The situation has become pitiful. When you go to the markets, the cost of rice, essential goods, is becoming a burden on our people. Mr. Minister, what is the minister doing?
Even the speaker agrees with the deputy speaker.
I really want to believe he speaks the mind of the entire house. He speaks the mind of all of us on this particular burning issue. essential commodities, including rice, cement, flour, etc.
You get the exact price of the 50 kg rice, like for example, parboiled rice. What's the cost?
I'd expect say the 50 kg parboiled rice as today inside Freetown here for day in between anything around 350 to 360.
This is not expectation. Let we look at the reality on the ground.
That is what I'm saying.
It's not what you expect now. What's in there on the ground?
Yeah.
I may not have got the information right now as I tell you, but based on waiting the wholesale price of rices, I'd expect say the rice in price and Freetown, that parboiled rice one I'm talking about, for the between 350, depending on where you are, to 300.
But you know, so that price is not showing the reality in terms of the cost.
You not get for tell me. I mean,
the price down at 510, 520.
That is not true.
As recent as it can be.
When they say it's not true. I mean, this is exaggeration. That rice, the parboiled rice, one bag rice at 520. That is not true. I mean, easy for maker even direct them. Go right down opposite bus station, and then get their own small retailer then they.
But if person able go yonder, not to pass Usauna Wale Posimba more reasonable.
Not to me, they tell you say make you go on a bus station, but I'm just making a reference that if it is there at that price, and when I then the retail, and you get a couple of other retail outlets then, for tell me say rice now 520. That's not true.
That is fact, Mr. Minister. Go to the ground where you left here, go to different shop them and ask.
I would challenge you on that is not true.
Okay.
That rice, a bag of rice they go at 500.
Okay.
It's not
It is true.
It depends on also maybe. I mean, if you talk about parboiled rice, you talk about butter brand rice, you talk about Big Joe. It can never be even up to 400.
Look at the prices depends to who you day at the moment and who you they buy them from. Let's take example, for instance, we me buy a bag now 430,000 leons, for instance, places like Lungi. So going to places far-flung communities, that was 2 weeks back. Mm-hmm. So that's the price we for instance, buy. Mm-hmm. Going to the far-flung communities, you can't despise the fact that it no go reach to 500,000.
I will tell you, say, all across the country, except if you talk about then other high-end rice like jasmine. But there is no way anybody will sell rice. Now, any part of this country have up to even 500,000.
But what about the 430?
No, well, 430, depending on, like I also say, depending on the kind of rice. But honestly, if you are saying that somebody is selling rice at 430, you are buying the wholesale price. More say even up to last week, the price was around 340,000. When I've been hearing they don't come with, I mean, it was all over on social media that wholesale price of rice is at 340,000. You can't tell me even paying transport to whichever part of the country you go. Finally, go sell that as a 340 or 330.
Mr. Minister, even if they say that is not true, we actually that not the ground. You know, things for the fact that we know the produce we own. For the fact that we know the produce we own, and you self just attest now, you say freight they go up. You know, things say people they do business for loss, and for the fact that we not get a proper, we not get a proper price monitoring mechanism in place. Obviously, people go.
I mean, these are all. I mean, I think say these are outlandish assumptions.
These are just facts. You just state here say the price monitors they not able reach all side. The price, the trade monitors they not able go all side.
It is not if it is not fact. I don't tell you say we get price control at 2 levels: the wholesale price, and with the insurance say we also get then community stores there where SLPMC they run across the country. We also get good business people then we really not go buy rice at a wholesale price of 340 or 335. Go Alec now Kailon you can go sell and the 430.
So how much for jasmine rice?
So I mean
50 kg.
No, I'm not going to tell you about jasmine. I mean, more not reduce this thing here to that.
This is about
so Mr. Minister, no, we look at
more not reduce this discussion.
No, we look at.
You go begin to ask me,
no, we look at.
This
rice, but you need for now as a Minister of Trade.
No, but
you for able to tell the public.
This is what I'm telling you. We concerned about the products that most of Sierra Leoneans, 80 to 90% of Sierra Leoneans able to consume. So, you know, we can begin ask me how much Toyota, for instance, when it comes to vehicle, how much Toyota they cost, how much Ferrari they cost. I'm telling you about waiting most of the people in the consume. Nobody in the right senses, no left price of rice weight and they buy, for instance, the butter brand. at maybe 340, 350 for go buy jasmine rice. Except if that's you they eat.
But you need for let the people know. Because why people they know, you they guide people for say if you go here, you mean this price.
This is Monday morning. We just come up from the weekend. By the time I get to my office, I think say I'll get forget the breakdown of prices of the essential commodities. And trust me, as you don't say, I'm going to look and maybe I'll go for even come back. If you allow me for come back on the station. Even if not tomorrow, and actually maybe take me and you go on the street more go check waiting really the price of them commodities.
I have taken a closer look at the agreement, and I think it's good in a considerable respect. But I wish to draw the attention of the minister to a burning issue. Mr. Speaker, I wish to state at this point.
What is now abundantly clear is that the 10 years of APC misrule and economic mismanagement has definitely created considerable suffering for the people of this country. From Kamakwie to Pujehu, from Kono to Freetown, and everywhere, people are...
That faith that defines state-society relationship. So today, I am going to limit myself to just talking about my own part of the story. That is the state, the functional state. Because if you want to talk about democracy, you have to have a functional state. A state that has the capacity to deliver development, and also a state that has the capacity to create a viable democratic space. If you look at the history of the decline of democracy in sub-Saharan Africa, particularly in the 70s up to the 90s and the resurgence of multi-party, you realize that there is a linear relationship between a state, a country that is doing very well, and democracy. Most of those countries in the 80s and the 90s that could not even deliver basic development, they were under very serious stress to deliver the basic tenets of democracy, meaning even money to organize elections they don't have. Any country that cannot organize free and fair elections, whether supported or not supported, tells me that the functionality of that state is very questionable. So today I'm just going to dedicate my time to talk about the role of the new direction of government led by Secretary Dr. Julius Madabio in the last 4 years. How have we been preparing on development? Because like I said, the responsibility of every state is to deliver development, like my colleague, and Lavalison said, he used the word production. I am going to use the word deliver development. You know, when His Excellency was putting the building block of the new direction manifesto, it came out clear that human capital development is going to be the guiding principle, because we believe that human capital development is the right path to sustainable development. So in that, we identified 3 key sectors where we wanted to change the narrative. First one is education. Of course, you know the story. 22% of the projects today in this country dedicated to education. We are today number 3 in the world, occupying the same position with Iceland, behind Sweden and Greenland. Number 3 in the world. Of any country that is taking 22% of their GDP to put it in education. Number 3, you check it. That was the Economist magazine. We have recruited more teachers. Today we have achieved parity of boys and girls. We are doing more to keep girls. We have increased the enrollment. Today, as a politician or any of you Most of you would have come from different kingdoms and towns. The biggest threat any politician has today in this country, when you go to your village, is to build additional classrooms. People will ask you to build additional classrooms. Because every Sierra Leonean kid now know they have an opportunity to go to. So today you have about 2.6 million kids in this country that this government is looking after them. We are paying school fees, we are buying teaching and learning materials, we are recruiting additional teachers, we are training them, we are improving their conditions of life. A couple of years ago, in 2018, when you look at the ratio, the percentage of kids who took the work exam compared to this year, the difference is huge. And the parties have increased because there is now a momentum in the country that everybody should be educated. Today you have over 300,000 kids in higher technical education. That is a record-breaking figure. In health, when we came in as a government, the health sector was getting 6%. We progressively increased that from 6 to 8 and 8 to 9. Today we are at 11.7. Although we are still 2.3 points short of the Abuja Declaration that says every sub-Saharan African country has to spend about 15%. We are at 11.7, and also that is one of the top in Africa. We have recruited over 6,000 healthcare workers. So usually when people talk about an increase in the wage bill, what we have experienced in Sierra Leone is not a vertical wage bill increment. It's what we call horizontal wage bill increment, which means we are recruiting more people in the public sector where they are needed. Because if you build more schools, if you have more kids, you have to recruit more teachers. If you are expanding healthcare, so even the smallest village, you need nurses and healthcare workers. That is why you combine the over 8,000 we have done in education and over 6,000 in healthcare. That takes you well over above 15,000. But public sector bill, that is a huge one. So that explains the increase in wage bill. The other area is agriculture, but I will come to agriculture later on. You see, the gains we have made in the human capital development sector, education, in health, and also we have increased food production. Essentially in agriculture, we have three overriding issues. First one is increase food self-sufficiency. Because you cannot have a country like Sierra Leone with very adequate rainfall and land, and then you continue to spend $520 million every year to import food. This country, we are spending $520 million or more to import food, of which $240 million alone is alright. So you definitely realize that we have to reduce our dependence on food import so that at least we can increase local production. If you look at the statistics today, although the data still shows that the majority of Rwandans are still in food insecure, we have increased local food production by 24% through the fact that we have increased the mechanization aspect of agriculture. You see that today in every district we have machine change, we have farms. Before this time, machines to do agriculture are based in Britain where there are no farms. Under the new direction of government, we decentralize. So if you go to Kenema, if you go to Conroy, if you go to block of Cambia, you have a machine change farm to support farmers so that at least that introduction of mechanization to help small outdoors is making huge impact. That explains the 24% increase in local production. The other third component in agriculture is that we see agriculture as the future of job creation. I'm going to specifically talk on job creation because what I want to do is to build a bridge between the excellency, human capital, development vision, and the future. And what is that future? That future is what we call the productive sector. Because when you educate people, when you provide food for them, and you provide good health care, and you are able to feed them, you have to create jobs for them, and you have to allow businesses to grow. That takes you into the productive sector. The productive sector is that sector that will allow government to make money, that will allow government to create jobs. Because if you have a government that is taking 22% of the budget on education alone, where you don't have any financial reform, and you take 11.7% and put it in healthcare, then that government has developed a productive sector to get revenue so that you are able to support the social sector. So on the productive sector, the key element is energy. When we came in 2016, in 2018, energy access in this country was 15%. There were only 4 major towns in the world. 4. Freetown is Makeni, is Kono on and off, Kotloko on and off, depending on the season because of the Bakasuka island. But apart from that, no other town in this country had it. You can imagine, no country will develop if you don't have an energy base. So the first vision of His Excellency in that direction was to move from what we call utility energy to productive energy. Meaning we don't just need light to power our homes or light schools and hospitals, but we need light to support manufacturing and production. So this government took extraordinary steps to move, to increase generation, to increase distribution, and to increase transmission. So today we have moved from 16% to over 34%. Today we have over 50 towns, small towns that have small scale off-grid solar solutions. It means those over 50 towns, and we are going to increase another 54 that are presently under construction. Those 50 towns they now have solar, they are able to power healthcare center, this community. So you have a kind of economic growing around that electricity supply. I don't need to talk much about our colleagues who reside in Mo and Kenema and Kono. They will tell you the beauty of having electricity. It's not only to charge the phone, but they now know that small businesses are growing. If you go to Koyu town today, people don't go to bed until around after 1 a.m. Simply because they have electricity in the short term, they are doing business. So that is what we have been doing in the energy sector. And by mid next year, by June next year, when we would have finished the substations in Peru and Canada, by mid next year, by June, His Excellency will have been able to deliver over 50% electricity access to the country. Today we are taking 10 megawatts from the CLSD. By next year, we are taking 7 megawatts from the CLSD line. That means we are going to power more towns and we are going to power more villages across those towns. If you take road is very important in the productive sector. Because if you encourage people to grow, to do agriculture, you have to create connectivity for them to have access to the market to sell their produce. So we are doing some major roads in the country. And we are not only doing roads because we want to do roads to showcase. All the road projects we are doing are strategically informed. They are informed in terms of development, they are informed in terms of connecting us to new markets. That is why we are doing the 2 major roads that lead us to Guinea. From the Kono end, which is a 78-kilometer road, and from Calabar, which is a 73-kilometer road from Calabar to Parana, and then from Kono to Guinea. So that at least those neighboring towns will come to Sierra Leone to buy market. And then Sierra Leone will be able to supply, and then we increase the productive base So we have to change. So we are building roads that are improving them. Also, we are building bridges in areas where you have colonial very dangerous, but not only dangerous, that are not being able to enable farmers to access market. So we are building those bridges and we will continue to build more of them. We have also made huge strides in the digital economy. I think in the next maybe tomorrow, the Minister of Information and Telecommunication will tell you some of the gains you have made. Today the world is going digital, and Sierra Leone has not been at the back stage. We are in the front stage because we are increasing energy access. We have increased fiber optic access. So today, are more Sierra Leoneans, even grandmothers in this town, they have our even if you don't send this, they send voice. So that is a big improvement, and these are what we call the building blocks of development. The blue economy, fisheries, marine. Before in this country, the only money we get from marine resources is lighting fees. For the first time in this country, that we are trying to turn that around. Meaning, before this time, before 2018, you have sectors like marine resources, like agriculture, like tourism. They were all classified under what we call social infrastructure, which means you spend money there, but government doesn't get money. His Excellency Julius Mara will say no. Agriculture, tourism, and marine should be able to be, we should be transformed into revenue generating sectors. And today they are contributing to the revenue of this country. We have engaged in reforms, we are transforming them. Today, Sierra Leone is exporting fish, not only to the West, but to neighboring countries. We are exporting fish to even Ghana, to Senegal. We are exporting cooking oil to Mali, to Cote d'Ivoire, to Guinea, to Senegal. We are exporting soft noodles. So since 2018, Sierra Leone external trade in terms of exporting what we produce in Sierra Leone has increased. And that is bringing additional foreign currency to us, and it is also creating jobs. That is the next thing I want to touch on. Jobs. That is a very big agenda. That is what I call building the bridge. Because when you spend money on educating people, when you spend money on healthcare, if you have 300,000 kids today in university and higher technical education, in 2021 alone, I normally say this everywhere I go, 241,559 kids we are born in this country in 2021. 241,559. When you look at that, the ratio is, if you want to talk about the average, you can say 240,000. If you have the country here, you have 240 kids born, and then you have a government that gives them early childhood education across the free primary, free basic education, and then a loan facility to go to university. It means in the next couple of years, you have nearly 500,000 Sierra Leoneans in tertiary and technical, because the Excellency has given them that opportunity. So we need to position the country to be just, and all the investments we are making to attract business, to expand our investment in agriculture, to expand our investment in energy, to expand our investment in digitalization, is to encourage companies to come, to create companies, to establish companies, so that these companies will increase government revenue and create jobs. That is why we are supporting the private sector. That is why we are making Sierra Leone more competitive for doing business. That is why the cost of electricity in Sierra Leone compared to our neighbors is still very low. The cost of data, check it. Go online and check data cost. Sierra Leone is among the fourth most, I think about 3 countries that we pay the least for data. Go to our neighbors. Countries like Mali, Senegal, how much the cost of 1 gigabyte? We are doing all of this to make the country competitive so that people can create companies and create jobs. Because we believe that if you provide free education to kids, when they have the skills, you have to create jobs. And if you create jobs for those kids, it means the 241,000 kids to multiply it. Because when young people have jobs, they go marry. So the number of married couples will increase as well. So in the next couple of years, that 241,000 will go to 270 or 80,000. So there's going to be a very vibrant, energetic population. And we are doing everything. Just last week, His Excellency opened the National Youth Employment and Empowerment Fair to showcase some of the things we want to do for job creation. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, these are some of the things we are doing as a government. We are doing our own thing. Like I said, if you cannot deliver development, you will not be able to deliver democracy. So we are doing our own part. In the area of governance, my colleagues before me, the Vice President, our brother from IGR, the Minister of Development and Planning, they have all highlighted what we've done. They have improved the rule of law in this country. They have expanded justice delivery mechanism. For the first time, people are not seeing high court in district. Now you have in all those districts, high courts are sitting appeal courts. We are doing that. We are building police capacity. We have increased the salaries and conditions, improve the conditions of service of the security and defense forces in this country, so that we'll be able to deliver justice. And we have expanded gender empowerment. That one, make no mistake. Today, this country is one of the flagship countries when it comes to gender empowerment. We have improved our scores to fight corruption, and more importantly, we have been able to create space for civic engagement. This is just one of them. Somebody made mention of the CSO government dialogue. We are committed to that. And then I'm also very happy that there's another space for media and civil society to engage. Mr. Minister, I want to thank you for this initiative. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I will just talk on two challenges for you to bear this in mind. Sub-Saharan, like most sub-Saharan African countries, are going through very tough times. The world is going through very tough times, and the Leoneans should know this, civil society should know this, media people should know this. When in 2018 and 2019, this government had the luxury of effective revenue collection. We increased our revenue collection. We are very bullish to engage in massive social programs. We are very strong to expand budgetary allocations to social sector. And COVID-19 came in, slowed down, created a global recession, and slowed down revenue, slowed down imports. And then today the Ukrainian crisis. The Ukrainian crisis, people say people are fighting in Ukraine. Why is it border to us? It's border to us because the Ukraine and Russia. Ukraine is one of the leading global producers of wheat. So if they are not supplying wheat, there's going to be the global price of wheat has increased by 25%. So it means all over the world, the cost of wheat increased by 25%. If you go to that. But what that has caused is that because we realize the fragility and the vulnerability of the social system in Sierra Leone, the government moved, not only in Sierra Leone, in so many other countries, government moved from the politics of development growth to a politics of redistribution. What does that mean? It means the small money we are getting from revenue, we use it to subsidize almost everything. Sierra Leone is the only government that is subsidizing everything. Go to the internet and check it. We subsidize rice, we subsidize some medicine, we subsidize flour, we subsidize foodstuff, we even subsidize cement and iron ore. No country is doing that. That means there is reduced revenue. revenue for government. So what government has been doing, why Sierra Leoneans are not feeling the pinch? For those of you that are active in social media, we saw a couple of weeks ago how tons of trucks were lining the road to Liberia, taking rice from Sierra Leone. We are taking Gary from here. We are supporting neighboring countries, our friends, because we realize we have to build good neighborhood. But those commodities are more expensive in their countries than in Sierra Leone. Because in Sierra Leone, government took it upon itself to subsidize, to reduce that tax. In fear, between January and March of this year, over 100, nearly 100 billion euros we subsidize it. So the price we are paying to the government is not getting money from it, because government has decided to go its tax just for the price of going to increase. This is how this government has been working. That the kind of social tension and crisis that affecting other sub-Saharan countries are not really affecting Israel. I'll give you an example. Data. You are paying the cheapest for data in this country. You have internet, search for it. So that is one critical challenge that we are coping with. The other challenge is, particularly for the media and civil society people, is there has been a very progressive contraction of the civic space. Businesses that are affecting people are also affecting the media houses. I guess printing materials, publication materials for the media are tripled, or even not doubled or tripled. So most media houses are strong to catch up, to be able to deliver quality paper, to even be able to pay their staff. And this is not because the country is difficult, because the world is going through some very difficult period that is touching every sector. Even the media is feeling that pinch, I believe, and that has reduced the space. Because when you have vibrant media, when you have well-paid media people, the last time I was invited to a large conference, I delivered a talk on the poverty of journalism and the journalism of poverty, where I explained that the global economy is affecting the media, because you cannot have well-paid people that
What is now abundantly clear is that the 10 years of APC misrule and economic mismanagement has definitely created considerable suffering for the people of this country. From Kamakwie to Pujehu, from Kono to Freetown, and everywhere, people are suffering under the weight of corruption and the mismanagement of the All People's Congress. I have seen it at first hand, from Falaba to Kenema and from...
You still watch we are on YouTube and on Facebook. We did right now Kenema Usai we actually join the government as the president SCORECARD. If they listen to the vice president, we in the making presentation just before we get that break. We listen to the vice president when they making presentation. It be just to talk about fuel subsidy. We say they don't spend over 1 billion within the shortest possible time on fuel subsidy. And I talk about the civic space before ever we get a break. So basically, it highlights certain things then where it said now successes them where the government don't make from where they come na power. It talk about a lot of things then. We talk about electricity, where you say before this term, and we just get a Kono, just get a like Freetown and Bo Kenema, but now they get plenty sign at the country, including villages, where they don't make lights don't go. That's a very good thing because say electricity very good for any country in development. So we still wait for let we get the feed again. We hope we get a feed again very, very fast for let we able to go again and listen to waiting the vice president actually the say. Well, we are waiting he actually the say, as then they make the presentation. So yeah, let's continue.
We have been doing very well. I give you few. Just big respect. But people don't know it. What about the studies of 55 to declare public policy? We discussed the studies like no one because the second is for 90. That is one. The second is the MCC, the Millennium Challenge Operation. That is the most, if not the most difficult, rigorous international scrutiny. Because if you pass it, your government is going to get hundreds of billions of dollars free from the American government. So, in the whole of Africa, there is one country at a time, or maybe two countries for 4 years. In 2021, we were compact eligible. The American government is going to support the hundreds of billions of dollars to spend in the United States. And for you to pass that, you have to pass 20 international indications. Since 2018, we have been passing. We started with 10, we moved to 11, we went to 13 indications. Check, go to the internet, check NCC, and check the countries that are passing in Africa. You realize that is an international benchmark. In terms of food system, just this week, Sierra Leone was the first country where they lost out of 35 countries that the European Union and the United Nations are putting 35 countries in the world to develop what we call agro-food system. Sierra Leone is the first country to launch the initiative. I went there, I delivered the key. These are things in other countries. They say it every day already on television. Just to let you know. The other international benchmark is education. His Excellency President Julius Malema is one of the five global champions in the world on education transformation. If you take Africa alone, if you give me your fine, we are talking about the whole world. The whole world. For your president to choose him as one of the 5 global champions. That is not a small measurement. That is not a small evaluation. That is an international recognition of the effort His Excellency has done in terms of education transformation. You have what they call the Sustainable Development Goals. This year, we launched the report at the Hill Station. And the entire report is very good. Vast part of the most of the SDG. That is not the resolution. That is a scrutinized evaluation by the United Nations in all the SDGs. They write their report. They even don't share the data with us. They said, in terms of SDG implementation, we are doing very well. So this is what we get from international benchmarking. This is the recognition. This is how the international community, international organizations are appreciating what we have delivered so far. We have done our own part. We said, consolidating democracy, our collective shared and patriotic responsibility. I think what I've highlighted here, I've given you a fair share of our own responsibility. Now you play your own part. Go to your radio, go to your community, and tell them that don't do with President Bio. That is the man that is taking this country to a state. We have no president that's taken it in the last 30 years. Go to your communities, engage your people, share the news of the good work the president and his administration have been doing. And this, I told people, is just the beginning of the journey. Because when we say new direction, it's not turning back. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I think we all have our own responsibility. If you judge us qualitatively, I think we have done our own fair share and we continue to do more. We ask you to do your own fair share by telling the story of what we have been doing. I think at this stage, I have to hand over the mic because it is 1 year to election, giving politicians like me a mic to talk about what we have been doing. I will not release that mic this evening because there are so many things to hear tomorrow. So this is an administration that has taken this country to the stage as a ceremonial, wherever you come from, whatever conference you attend, you will be proud of your president and your government. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you very much.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, on that very positive and promising note, I want to declare the review process formally open. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Before we now go to the vote of that, I've been asked by the organizer to recognize the committee of the suppliers. Orange is here.
once again thank all of you and look forward to a very productive
One camera, me get one at camera.
Yes. We can go after the few counts if you're ready. Like 1, 2, 3. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, announcement.
Okay, so we want for tell you thank you for now. Because we be lost feed, so we join Ministry of Information and Communication, their own Facebook feed. But instead don't get a break, so we said they get a break for now, and then even time, later even time we will try to get a discussion on this thing, critical view on this, critical analysis. Also, we'll get different views then for able to come together. Let me see waiting we can discuss. And that will include UNACSF where they watch we. So join me again even time. I'm not going for tell you now the time. It depends on how they schedule day. But we will come on again. Please, if you're not subscribed yet, please subscribe now. If you don't subscribe, please check if your notification day on. And mark the word all. So anytime will come on now, you will get a notification. Well, until we meet again, another beautiful edition. I want to say God bless we country Sierra Leone, where we can call we are. Until we meet again, thanks to Lawrence, when our man, we be done the by under.